And away we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the big show on your radio. It's Monday, baby. Let's get this bad boy going. What up? South Carolina. How do you do? Great to be back with you once again on a Monday. I am Round. The pleasure exclusively mine. Thanks so much for making us a part of your afternoon. Very much for letting us be a part of yours. I say us because back in the networks, the man in charge of all the buttons required to be pushed to make us sound as smooth and sensuous as we do every day. The great one, hashtag dad kick grudge, the Alpha, the Omega of ESPN Upstate, what a content cash cow. I don't even know what I forgot. He's got so many nicknames. When we make the t-shirts, the entire back of the t-shirt is just going to be Lonzo nicknames. What up, Zoe?
He's sensuous.
I mean, I'm as sensuous as I am humble.
I just have to say, if you were on the ESPN stream on Facebook, and other places, which Rob will tell you about, you can see what a wonderful looking hat, a well-fitted hat that Rob is wearing today.
Very brand new, by the way, Zoe. Brand new. You ready for this? The throwback Atlanta A.
Look at that.
Yeah, right.
No, you need to put that back on.
Yeah, you like new list. Yeah, you like this.
No, let's talk about your hair, man.
Yeah, I know what you were talking about. This majestic is what happens when your boy wakes up and goes, "No, I don't feel like doing anything. I'm just putting on a hat." There was nothing to it. Today. No, Zoe, I got on Saturday. I got to roll over to Hotlanta, Georgia, and attend my first Braves game in Truist Park in person, which was not only a fantastic place to catch a game, but on top of that, ended up being a great game. The Braves walk off in the 12th inning. In the 10th inning, the Phillies went up by a run. Bottom of the 10th, the Braves get it back. In the 11th inning, the Phillies go up by a run. Bottom of the 11th, the Bravos get it back. In the 12th inning, the Phillies go up by 3 runs in the top half, in the home half of the 12th. And what do the Braves do? Nothing. Load up the bases. Contreras gets a little dinger out the right. It drops. The base is clear. The Braves tie it up, scoring 3. And then the very next batter, they get another single out to right field. Contreras scores. Ball game over. Bravos walk it off the bottom of the 12th after being down 3 in the home half of the inning. Got to head over with a couple of guys, some of the fellas from over at the Swamp Rabbits, and I took a roll over there. So I got to tell you, man, beautiful ballpark, Truist Park. Phenomenal little entertainment district they built right there around it at the Battery. I'm going to talk more about it later on in the show. Suffice to say, Lonzo, it was a fantastic day. And man, have I missed live sports, buddy.
I can tell you the pictures that you were having a good time. And what's traffic like getting to that stadium? I am very curious about that.
Really? Now, the game was at 7:20, and we got there at like noon, right? Because it's Saturday, man. It's Saturday. If you're going to commit a Saturday to baseball, you commit the Saturday to baseball. So we got over there at about noon. Zoe parked in a parking garage that was 75 yards away from the stadium. It didn't take us but maybe 12, 15 minutes to get from that garage to back up on the interstate. I was a little disappointed when they moved the Braves out to Cobb County, which is probably 20 minutes away from downtown Atlanta. I'm like, I like my baseball in the city where I can go and I can do stuff around the city before a night game. But they built basically a little mini city right around the stadium. I mean, there's 10, 12, 13 bars and restaurants. There's a concert venue that had live music going on all day. Big open grass, green area, and people throwing baseballs back and forth. And it was a phenomenal experience. Lonzo, and I got to tell you, man. Even if you're not a baseball fan, even if you're just like, I'm not a baseball fan, but I'll go to a game. Truist Park is set up perfectly for that. You get there, you park the car a handful of hours before the game. You don't have to go anywhere. Everything is right there. I think we did $50 for a ticket. We were on the second level, right along, almost even with first base. I don't know, we're probably 50, 60 feet above the field and 60 feet away from the first base dugout. It was a tremendous experience, Lonzo. I mean it, man. I'm not talking up because I'm talking about. I've been to a lot of stadiums. Some are set up better than others. They did a great job. Man. We got to get over. We need to put together a hashtag Rob Brown Show Roadie to get over to the ATL and get to some Braves games.
You know, I don't mind going, but I don't want to be there 7 hours. That's just me. No. I mean, you know, an hour earlier, I'm good. 7? That's a little early.
Oh, we had a blast, man. We had a blast. And I said the same thing. You know, it's like noon. It's like we're on the road almost there. We pull up and it's legit 7 hours. I want to say we had like 7 hours and 10 minutes until first pitch. And I'll also say I knew it wasn't going to be that long because I don't know about you. So I'm a BP guy. Like I like to go in and watch warm-ups. I like to go in and watch guys take BP. You can get a good read on who's got a feel on their swing that day. You know, you go watch the bullpen session. You can get a good feel for who's bringing their best stuff that day. As a nerd, I like to go watch all the pregame stuff happen. And thanks for the heads up there, Josh. I fixed the echo on the stream for those of you that are watching the stream at facebook.com/ESPN Upstate, at twitter.com/The Rob Brown Show, or by searching The Rob Brown Show on YouTube. The stream echo is now fixed, so you should be good to go. But yeah, so I said the same thing. I said like 6 hours. That is just too much to stand around and be ready for a baseball game. But man, like there was a live concert going on right in front of the stadium. Had a couple of different acts up there, different genres playing, which was great. People were super in a good mood. People were in such a good mood, Lonzo, I didn't even get into a fight with any Phillies fans. And if there's one group of fans in America I'd get into a fight with, it's Phillies fans. They're the worst.
So, I mean, if this is your first time listening, what I would gather is that you normally go to a game for fights because that's kind of what you just said. So I'm glad that you managed to stay out of jail and you're not coming with any face lacerations or anything to work. It's a good day.
You know what, Lonzo? You know what? We're going to call it even. All right. I threw you in the gutter last week for funsies. Now you've done it to me. We're going to call it even. It's Monday in the first segment, Lonzo.
How did I throw you in? Once again, I was lost last week. I'm lost. How did I throw you under? You just said you get in fights.
To games looking for fights. That is not what I said. I said if I was going to fight, it would be a Phillies fan because they're bad people.
All right. So let me clarify. And you've been in radio for a while, as have I. People hear things that you're just not saying. So a lot of people heard you say exactly what I thought they could hear you say. Doesn't mean you said it, but I don't throw you under the bus. If I did, it would be obvious. I would not do that.
Baseball games to get in fights. So I've never been punched in the face in my life, man.
Hey man, I don't know what I don't know. I come in here in a good mood and you know and I just say something offhand and right up to I'm hurt. I really am hurt.
Thanks for complimenting my hat, by the way.
It's a good look at it. It's a well-fitted hat too.
Got it, yeah.
And I'm looking at it thinking, how would a hat like that, how far up my head would that fit? And I'm thinking like halfway, but which is still better than a beanie. So, you know.
So if I bring you back a baseball hat, I need to get like I need to make sure there's many X's before the L is possible.
Yeah, it's kind of it's long and anyway. Again, a Predator would be really happy with my head as a trophy, and that's fine. I remember how hard it was to get a football helmet to fit it, so I'm good with that.
What a start to the show, ladies and gentlemen. We're way late in the segment, so let's get that thing done that we like to get done in the first segment.
Let's do lunch.
This is a very nutritious lunch. All the food groups are represented.
You guys are here. What
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here? Lunch! Lunch!
It is the lunch breakdown of 3 things you have to know before we go start talking sports with our friends, families, coworkers, or the dog, whoever you spend your lunch break with on this beautiful Monday afternoon. We start with item number 1 in the lunch breakdown. We are coming to the end of a pair of seasons here as the NBA and the NHL are both days away from seeing their seasons wrap up. Many NBA teams with just a game left to go, a couple left with 2 left to go, and not every single playoff race is wrapped up as of yet, but we are getting pretty close. We are getting pretty close to knowing our 6 teams from the East and the West that will move into the first round, and our 4 teams from the East and the West that will play through the play-in tournament for a chance to get into the dance. The East right now, your 76ers of Philadelphia are the kings of the East right now. A 3-game lead opened up over the Brooklyn Nets. And the big story with Brooktown, obviously, is James Harden. James said over the weekend that he feels he will absolutely be ready to play and pass the injuries when the playoffs begin in a handful of days. The Nets are up by a half a game right now over the Milwaukee Bucks. The Knicks have been red hot deep in the season. Now number 4 in the East. They are a game up on the Atlanta Hawks in the 5th spot, and the Miami Heat look like, if nothing goes wrong, with a 2-game lead over the number 7 seed, they will be in as well. That 7th seed in the East are the Boston Celtics at 35 and 33. Reverse that record, and that's where the Charlotte Hornets find themselves. Charlotte last night getting knocked out by a Zionless New Orleans Pelicans squad, dropped to 33 and 35. They'll be the 8th seed, meaning that if all things stand the way they do right now, which I'd imagine they will, Charlotte, as the 8th seed, will be squared up with the Wiz, Washington, Bradley Beal, another big-time game. Washington, 32 and 36 in the 9th seed, and Indiana in the 10th spot. They are 2.5 games up on Chicago right now, so it looks like that one should all but be in the books, although mathematically, both the Bulls and the Raptors are technically still alive. A lot of work to do, and they would need some help. The Magic, Cavs, and Pistons are the 3 teams eliminated out in the East. In the West, the Utah Jazz come in as the 1 seed, best record in the National Basketball Association through this point. They are 50 and 18. They have a 2-game lead over the Phoenix Suns at 48 and 20 in the 2 seed, locked in there. The Clippers are the 3 seed at 45 and 23, just a game up on the Denver Nuggets, who are 44 and 24. The Mavs, last night, Luka Doncic getting ejected for throwing what was determined to be a low blow at Colin Sexton. He has gotten a tech for it. He has 1 tech remaining before he will be suspended for a game for the Mavs, and they are not in a spot where they can risk not having Luka for a game. They are just 1 game up on the 6th seed Portland Trailblazers and just 2 games up on the LA Lakers. And where does that put LA? In the 7th seed. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, your defending national champions right now are in the playoff game, which is why it is not surprising to me, Lonzo, we're going to talk about this a little bit later, that last year when the playoff format was discussed, LeBron was a fan. This year, LeBron said whoever came up with that bleep deserves to be fired. Not all that surprising, though, now that LeBron's Lakers, because of his injuries almost directly, find themselves in the 7th seed and likely having to fight themselves into the bracket.
Wait. A double standard in sports? Are you serious? A star has changed their mind and decided to go a different way when it affects them? That's hard to believe.
I know. Absolutely shocking. Absolutely shocking that somebody would feel one way when it is at the benefit of their team and feel a different way when it was to the detriment of their team. The Lakers in 7th, the Warriors in the 8th spot, the Grizz in the 9, and right now, your 10 seed is the San Antonio Spurs. They have a 1.5 game lead on the New Orleans Pelicans in the 11th spot, and Sacramento is a game behind New Orleans in the 12th spot. New Orleans and Sacramento mathematically still alive, though the Kings would need the Pels and the Spurs to lose out. The Pels would need to win out without Zion and have the Spurs lose out. It's not likely. I would suspect that the West is pretty much locked in, at least who is in, maybe not the seedings themselves. Our NBA playoffs are just around the corner. We'll talk more about that later on, but we got to get to item number 2. The NBA playoffs are just about to start. The NHL playoff brackets are all but set now as well. We have just one playoff spot remaining to be grabbed right now. Over in the Eastern Division, the Penguins are locked in, as are the Capitals, Bruins, and Islanders. The Pens and the Caps will each host a first-round playoff series. It's guaranteed that they are the number 1 and 2 seeds out of the East. However, it is still unknown which teams they will be playing to open the postseason. The Bruins and the Islanders still have those up for grabs. The Bruins have a 1-point advantage over the Islanders for the 3 spot, but Boston has 2 regular season games remaining, today versus the Islanders and then tomorrow at the Caps, the first of which is New York's only remaining contest. So the Islanders could theoretically take 3 away from Boston today and then have Boston lose tomorrow and move on. But as long as the Bruins beat the Islanders or take them to overtime, they will be the 3 seed. Over in the North Division, there's only one playoff spot available, and it is here. It will go to either the Canadiens, the Flames, or the Canucks. The Senators are ahead of both the Flames and the Canucks, but the Senators have just 1 game remaining and cannot do enough, with the Flames and Canucks each having a few games remaining because of COVID delays and having those games attached to the end of the season. Mathematically, the Senators cannot do enough to have more points than the Flames or the Canucks, so they are eliminated. The Maple Leafs will be the 1 seed. Edmonton will be the 2 seed, and Winnipeg could still fall to number 3, though mathematically speaking, it is unlikely. Over in the Central Division, the one that most of you care about, how about your Carolina Hurricanes? 80 points, and the division is sealed shut. Carolina with the 1 seed. The Panthers get the 2 seed. The Lightning locked in at the 3, and the Preds locked in at the 4. Now, the Hurricanes did knock off the Predators last night. The final NHL regular season game for both of those teams is once again against each other tonight. Over on the flip side, Florida and Tampa Bay facing off in the regular season finale today as well. The only way the Lightning can pass the Panthers in the standings and move up to number 2 is if they win that game in regulation. The Panthers, if they win or take it to overtime, will stay at number 2. And if the Canes can get by the Preds in the first round, a first round that is locked in, they will get the winner of the Panthers-Lightning matchup, regardless of who hosts it. But your Hurricanes have clinched the Central Division. The Preds have clinched the 4 seed. We will see what tone they set tonight as they get set for the first round game. Over in the West, Vegas has clinched a playoff berth. So has Colorado, Minnesota, and St. Louis, and that is the order that they are in right now. The only thing that we know about the seeding right now in the Western Division is that the Blues will be number 4 and face whichever team wins the division in the final round, which can be either Vegas or Colorado. The Wild no longer can win the top seed, but they could still move as high as number 2, as they are only a point behind the Avs, who are trying to chase down the Golden Knights for the top spot. Vegas and Minnesota each have 2 regular season games remaining. Colorado has 3. The Golden Knights host the Avalanche tonight. If they win, they clinch the division title. So this is an important one for Colorado. They have to win in order to stay alive in the battle for the number 1 seed, and also fend off Minnesota to try to stay at number 2. So there's your NHL standings, as most teams will finish their regular season up tonight. A handful of teams still have 2 or 3 games remaining thanks to the Rona delays from the regular season. The Hurricanes have clinched the 1 seed. They will host the opening round matchup against the Nashville Predators. Item number 3 we're going to get to here in just a moment from now, because we're way late, way off the pace. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll give you our final lunch breakdown topic, and then we get to you. 844-477-3776, 844-GSP-ESPN. Text us on the Ingles Market text line at 71307. The Rob Brown Show rolls on next. It's ESPN Upstate.
QC Kinetics.
Yep.
The Rob Brown Show. Listen on your computer and tablet at ESPNUpstate.com.
So after going to the Atlanta Braves game on Saturday, I got back home, drove back after the game was over, got to the house, and realized that after standing, the better part of 12 hours, man, did my knees hurt, man. They hurt, and they were inflamed, and you could tell. That's why we partnered up with QC Kinetics, because I don't want to have to be in a spot where if somebody calls me and says, Rob, let's go to a baseball game, I have to go, I don't know, man, my knees might hurt afterwards. QC Kinetics offers non-surgical regenerative therapies. They help to rebuild and to heal that connective tissue inside of your joints so that that inflammation, that swelling goes away, and that pain goes away with it. Man, you know how frustrating it can be when all you want to do is enjoy your everyday life. Pick up the grandkids, hit some golf balls, walk around the park, and that inflammation and that pain prevents it from happening. That's why QC Kinetics wants to help you, and they don't want you have to get sliced and diced open to do it. You get your therapy right there in the office. You don't have to go under. You don't have to dry level the place, because they're right here in Greenville, and that's where you get your treatment. Go to QCkinetics.com, QCkinetics.com to learn more, or give them a buzz at 864-448-3772. Mention the Rob Brown Show. Get that first consultation underway for free. 864-448-3772. It's our friends at QC Kinetics.
Automotive Map.
So how was Mom's Day for the better half, Zoe? Did you treat her good? Get her some flowers? Cook her a steak?
I did not cook, but we did go out, and she bought some dragon's breath, or I bought her some dragon's breath.
That's a flower, right?
Yes, it is.
Ah, look at Rob Brown.
It is. It is definitely. But I spent the first part of the day babysitting. Then I mowed the lawn, which, you could consider that a Mother's Day thing, since I've been mowed in a couple weeks. And then I took her out, and then I helped the son paint for 3 or 4 more hours.
What are y'all painting, a barn?
He is purchasing a house, but it's a little bit of a fixer-upper. Yeah, so requires some painting, and it's taking us a couple weeks. And some of the trim that he wants painted is detailed in the point where you need to tape everything up, so you don't splatter it on everything. And so there's a lot of high points, which he can't get on the ladder like I can. So, I mean, it's still not completely done, but it's getting there. I painted Saturday and Sunday again.
Like painting the whole house, or just like the outside of it? Or
the outside.
Okay.
Yeah. And it could just be that, we're just not very good painters. I mean, it could be that. Limited time on Saturday. I spent a couple hours, and one of his buddies come over and help too. But I can, I don't want to get so tired that I can't do a show. And I am elderly, and because of that, I have to pace myself. No, this is taking a while.
Well, you got to do it right, man. You can see when a paint job's been slopped together.
Yeah, I mean, this thing, the colors that he's picking, some people are not happy with, but it's his house.
Hey, yeah,
and it pops.
What kind of wait? What color is he going with?
Well, the house is painted a light gray, and he's got blue on the trim around things, and the blue it's not a bright blue, but it's not a dark blue either. I don't remember the exact color of blue when we went and got the paint, but
lighter or darker than the hat?
A little bit lighter than the hat.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, any blue goes with a gray. Blue
yeah. No. The colors go well together. Yeah. They're just, they kind of pop when you're driving down the road. You're like, whoa, which is what you want.
On Twitter, tweet at The Rob Brown Show on the Upstate Sports Leader, ESPN Upstate.
The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. This is ESPN Upstate. I am Rob. He is Lonzo. You are the great people of Greenville, Spartanburg, and the rest of the surrounding Upstate. Man, it is so good to be back with you guys on a Monday. Let's finish up with our third. Let's go with our third lunch breakdown topic. And that goes to the world of golf. We won't spend a ton of time on it. We'll circle back around to it later as well. But the drought is over for the young man from Northern Ireland. A fitting way to end an 18-month streak of no victories for Rory McIlroy. His last victory, the 2019 Wells Fargo Championship. He knocked another one down. His first victory since 2019 is at the Wells Fargo Championship. McIlroy made a beeline for his daughter, Poppy, and his wife, Erica, as they celebrated victory as a family for the first time. A fitting day for Rory to be able to get the dub on Mother's Day. He had to endure some nervous moments on the 18th hole to rescue a bogey that left him 10 under par for the tournament and just one stroke ahead of Abraham Answer, claiming his third title at Quail Hollow and his 19th PGA Tour title. He said, quote, "This place has been good to me," end quote. He won the WGC HSBC Champions back in 2019, became a father for the first time in August of last year. He has endured struggles with injury, has had some problems with his form, which if you've watched Roy at any of the tournaments, the frustration has been worn on his sleeve. In fact, the 32-year-old said he came close to not even attempting to play this weekend because he hurt his neck on the practice range on Wednesday. He said it progressively got a little bit better as the week went on. End quote. He is now, before that win, was 15th in the world rankings, his lowest since 2009. Pardon me. In an attempt to recalibrate, he hired Coach Pete Cowan, and after missing the cut at both the Players' Championship and the Masters, finally got it turned around. Look, I got to tell you, it's good to see a guy like Rory, right? This is a dude who loves the game of golf. Yeah, he's an emotional cat. He does wear his emotions on his sleeve. But I appreciate guys like that, Lonzo. I appreciate athletes who are open. I appreciate athletes who they just put themselves out there, the good, the bad, the ugly, the frustration when it hits, which it certainly has been there for Rory. You could read his face, the amount of relief that he felt by being able to take that W on Sunday. Look, even if you don't watch golf, Rory's a dude that has been there. He's been on the face. He's been on the cover of golf video games. He's been on the cover of magazines. He was floating on top of the world until a 1.5 year long drought came out. But he didn't walk away. He didn't give up. He didn't slow up. He was struggling with his form. He kept grinding. And he got to lift a trophy this weekend, Lonzo. I am happy for Rory McIlroy. And look, Rory's one of those that there's a handful of athletes that you can say, hey man, the game is better when this guy's in top form, and the game will be better if Rory starts threatening the top of leaderboards on Sundays again, as he should have been doing the whole time. But everybody can catch the yips. Rory did. He's on his way back up, and I'm happy to see it for the young man.
Yeah, imagine the pressure that's put on someone when you're labeled a phenom at a younger age and you're doing so well, and then suddenly things just aren't falling. I mean, that's got to be tough, and that's a major slump going that long, and being out there and competing but never winning, and then being able to get back. That's really cool for him. But is he going to go another 1.5 years? Don't want to be the negative guy here. Has he found out what his problem is, and now can he be consistent and be up there contending every week?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's not like you get one and suddenly everything just falls into place and you start dominating the field again. But I don't know about you, Zoe. This has happened to me. You get into your own head, right? I mean, I was a pitcher in high school, and all it takes is you come into a game, the leadoff batter touches you up for a homer, and it gets into your head, man, and it can affect you a little bit. And golf's the same way. It's an interesting sport. As somebody who plays it, not well, but somebody who plays it, you can go out there and string along 3, 4, 5, 6 really good holes and feel like you're on the way. And then suddenly on 7 or 8, you triple bogey. You start overthinking what went wrong. It can climb into your head, and you don't recover. You can't find it. You can't get it back. That, Lonzo, but 18 months of failure in your own head. There are a lot of athletes who are just not mentally tough enough to be able to put that in the rearview mirror and focus on what went right and learn that. Now we just get to see if Rory McIlroy is one of those cats or one of those guys that's going to go, yeah, I got to win, but what was I doing wrong for 1.5 years that prevented it, and dwelling on the negative, which can be a huge detriment to a pro athlete.
And think about it. You're talking about the pressure that you're having just being out there as an amateur, but this guy it's his job, and he's got a country on his back. He absolutely does, because he represents his country. So that's extra pressure right there. And, like I was saying earlier, I mean, he was mentioned alongside Tiger and stuff for a while.
Sure.
And how much of that pressure was him putting it on himself? And is that monkey finally off his back? Is he finally ready to go and be out there every week and ready to compete and maybe get to number one? Was he at number one at one point? For some reason, I thought he was.
I want to say he did get to world number one for a while.
Yeah, back when everything was going well. So, will he be able to reach those heights again?
Yeah, 2015, he was ranked number one, and obviously in the last 1.5 years, had just fallen off, which is disappointing. He also he got back to number one. Ironically enough, despite not having any wins, he also was ranked number one for a number of weeks back in early 2020, back in the early part of last year. 1,600 days between stints at number one. Held on to that for a while after he overtook Brooks Koepka, but then gave it back and has been in a free fall ever since then. This a really good opportunity for him to climb back up to that spot. All right, 844-GSP-ESPN, 844-477-3776 is the number to be a part of the program. Text us on the Ingles Market text line at 71307. Start your text with ESPN. Rob, you have already said the Boston Celtics and the Lakers are the 2022 national champs. Did you have brownies for breakfast? Not the kind of brownies that you're talking about there, Texter. I have called them the Boston Celtics my entire career because that's what that word is, right? That's what that word is. Yes, they changed it to Celtics to Americanize it when Boston first got a team. But as a
and how does that Americanize it? I mean, I've never understood that. Because why does that make it more American by making the C sound like an S? I don't. Okay. No, I'm not coming at you on that. I've never understood that. And I agree with you. If you see that word anywhere else, it's Celtic.
Yeah. That's why I do it. I don't understand why it was anything. Boston Celtics is a great name. I'm good with the Boston Celtics. That's what that word is. And if I said the Lakers were your defending national champions, that basketball is look.
No, technically you're right because there's well, you know, I get if you throw Canada right, in there, but that's okay. All right.
But if you want to get super technical with me there, dear Texter, we could just call it the 2020 North American Championships, right? Technically, they're the North American champions. When they square off against the winner of the Chinese League, the Russian League, the French League, all of which have really good international players, then we can go world, all right? At this point, they're always the world champs. I'm just being stubborn right now because you brought it out of me and it's Monday morning, Texas.
Hey, we get it's Monday, people. Come on, lighten up.
Quick break. We're coming back right after this. I'm Rob Brown. He's Lonzo. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It's ESPN Upstate.
The Rob Brown Show. Listen on your Amazon or Google Smart TV.
So I don't know if you saw this, Zoe. Let me get out of the full screen and pause this because I have to share this. But in Houston yesterday, this happened, Lonzo. I'm not going to roll the sound because there's a lot of bad language in the background. But you see that, right? You see that?
Yeah, I saw the story.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So the best part, ladies and gentlemen, that's a tiger. And not like a little cat that everybody's like, "Oh, look at that little tiger." That's a real tiger. Like a full-size tiger. There's a dude in a neighborhood in Texas who has gone full-on Joe Exotic and owns a tiger. And this tiger is just walking around the neighborhood like it's NBD, man. No big deal. Over on the right, you'll see a dude who is an off-duty sheriff deputy who lives in the neighborhood. And he, like, pulls his gun on the tiger. You know, Lonzo, because it's a tiger.
Well, I do have a question, though. What's an off-duty police officer living in that neighborhood? How much is that dude making? There are columns and stuff on those houses.
Really nice. Like, look at that house.
That is a well-manicured lawn right there. The stonework over there is exquisite, and it looks like someone's doing some housework because they got a dumpster out there. But that's a nice place.
I do love that I show a video of a tiger rolling around a neighborhood, and Zoe's response is, "Look at that yard, man. Exquisite yard." So the guy on the right pulls a gun on the tiger because, again, it's a tiger, and that's an appropriate response.
Yeah, but what's he doing? I mean, he's backing out of the shot, but why are you pulling the gun and backing away like you think the tiger knows what the gun is?
Because, though, if you run from the tiger...
No, I get it. I get it.
Bad things happen to you.
But if you're pulling the gun out on the tiger, and he's still approaching, stop backing away and just do what you got to do. Yeah. I mean...
So, the
don't let him get closer to you. That's my point.
The best part as you see over on the right side of the video towards the end, he's like pointing, right?
Yeah.
It turns out the tiger is actually owned by a dude who lives a couple of blocks away. And the tiger was just out for a stroll, right? Just a household pet taking a stroll through the hood. The guy that owns the tiger shows up and he's like, hey, yo, please don't shoot my tiger. And the guy's like, it's a tiger. Yeah, I'm probably going to unload on your tiger. The dude the dude that owns the tiger, who's this like guy probably in his 30s, about my age, in hipster jeans, just walks over to the tiger, Lonzo, grabs it by the neck like any cat owner would their regular little fluffy house cat, throws it into the back of his SUV, and drives away like he didn't just have a full-blown tiger rolling around in front of these people's houses. He just leaves like, yeah, me and my pet tiger hitting the road, man. See y'all later. What the hell, Lonzo? That's unbelievable.
Probably not for that neighborhood, though. I'm just saying.
I had to tell you, man, my first thought, Lonzo, there's got to be an HOA
Real unfiltered sports talk brewed locally.
Oh my God, a
Yeah,
hipster!
you
Bring
would
him
think
a
so.
microbrew, quick!
This is the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
All right, listen, we were during the stream, and this is why you got to join the stream at Facebook.com/ESPN Upstate, Twitter.com/The Rob Brown Show, or search The Rob Brown Show on YouTube. If you've got the YouTube app on your smart TV, you can watch it right there on your television. During the break, we were watching the video. There was a story that came out of a neighborhood in Houston where this dude just owns a tiger. He just has a tiger. Just got a tiger. And the tiger got out and was just taking a casual little stroll, as tigers do, surveying the hood. So knock off Joe Exotic, who just owns a tiger, is letting his tiger walking down the street. An off-duty sheriff's officer, in the correct response to a tiger roaming the street, walks out with his service firearm, points it at the tiger, and here's the best part. I didn't play the audio on the streams, though, because the audio is full of explicit language beyond what I was comfortable playing on the stream.
Which would not be a surprise with a tiger. Yeah, it's a tiger. Yeah, correct. I get that.
Correct. But the best part of the audio, Lonzo, and I may try to isolate this later, as the tiger is just walking up to this dude who's like got a gun pointed at it, he starts going, Lonzo, no, sir. No, sir. Back off. No, sir. He's telling the tiger, no, sir, the same way you would. You ever owned a cat, Lonzo?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay. I'm a dog guy, but there have been cats in my life in the past. He was talking to this tiger the same way that you might talk to a cat who is like, you ever see when a cat's about to pounce, their eyes get real big, the pupils dilate, and they kind of do that little wiggle to set in to get launch angle and velocity correct. And every now and then you'll be sitting on your couch and your zipper will be hanging and it catches the light and it shines, and you'll see your cat down at the end and he gets into pounce mode and you know he's coming for you. So you're like, no, Wade, don't you do it. That's the way this guy was talking to a full-blown ass tiger, Lonzo. No, sir.
So your cat was
apex predator. Don't you dare.
Was your cat Wade Wilson, by the way?
The lady's friend's cat is Wade, named after Wade Hampton Boulevard.
Oh, okay.
Got it from.
Okay. All right.
But it's Wade Wilson to me. Yes, he is Wade Wilson to me. But yes, it's like, no, don't you. And this guy's yelling at a tiger. No, sir. No. Bad kitty. Don't you. Dude, you're a what? That's a tiger, man.
But he's playing it smart. He's keeping eye contact with the tiger. He's backing away. You don't just turn and run from a tiger.
You don't turn and run from any cat. They immediately go into tiger mode. Even house cats will mess you up. This is a tiger. The best part is the hipster who owns him shows up in his skinny jeans and he's like, dude, please don't shoot my tiger. Like, I don't think it's really up to me whether I shoot your tiger at that point or not. Your tiger's just walking at me, and he's a tiger, and I got a gun.
This was in Houston, right?
Yeah, as far as I know, that's the understanding I have.
Well, what are the chances Mark Ryan has him on the show later?
Tiger King, Tiger Prince shows up. So then the dude that owns the tiger just rolls over, grabs the tiger by the scruff of the neck. Just a tiger, grabs him by the neck, throws him in. Well, he doesn't throw. He leads the tiger. He ain't throwing a tiger anyway. It's a big tiger. Throws the tiger into an SUV and just drives away. Yo, me and Tony, we're out. Me and Tony T, we're hitting the streets. We're out. As if that's a totally normal thing.
You think it has like a doggy door or something and it just goes in and out in the yard as it pleases?
I'll tell you what, right now, if you gave me the option of have a tiger or a bunch of geese, I'll take the tiger.
Yeah, me too.
All of that being said, the first thought the first thing I thought, Lonzo, is, you know how whenever you see a sign that has some crazy instruction on it, like do not do this, the first thought I have is that means that at some point somebody decided to do that, right? Mm-hmm. All bad all dumb instruction signs.
Either someone died or there was a lawsuit involved.
Yes. Yeah. Every time it's because somebody did something dumb. I realize now that one HOA in America, Lonzo, is now going to have in their homeowners association covenants a no tiger clause. And at some point in the future, somebody's going to buy a house in that neighborhood, be going through the HOA covenants and read the tiger clause and think to themselves, why does this particular homeowners association have an explicitly written rule that says owners may not let their tigers walk around the neighborhood?
Yeah, that would make you to try to decide whether you want to live there or not. You may not want to live there.
Yeah. Is this a problem in the hood that needs to be addressed?
See, as someone who lives in the woods, and oftentimes when I go out to my car or something at night and I hear a noise and I have no idea what might be walking out of the woods, I can't imagine being that guy and just walking through that really nice neighborhood and there's a tiger.
The thing is, I've lived in places where I'm a little off the beaten path in the past, right? And you go outside and you hear the noises and you're like, it might be a coyote, it might be a wolf. Hey, it could just be a raccoon trying to scurry away. Never once have I had to realistically think to myself, might be a tiger stalking me from the bushes. If you lived in this hood in Houston now, Lonzo, every night when you take out the trash and you hear a rustle from somebody else's house, you now have to legitimately have the thought, is that a tiger? And it's a real thing, man.
Well, that's emotional distress, and you might want to get a lawyer and go after the tiger owner for what he's putting you through every single night. Living in that neighborhood, you probably could afford it and may actually be a lawyer.
A tiger. And he just throws it in the back of his SUV, same way I would if my dog got off his leash for a day. A tiger. Quick break. We come back, wrap up hour number 1 after this, and sports talks next on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
The Rob Brown Show. Listen on your Amazon or Google smart speaker. Just say...
I'm going to go to the restroom now, but before I do, I will say that, big game hunting or survival could be considered sports. So that story was kind of sports.
Fair enough.
That's all I'm saying.
Fair enough. I also have to, when Zoe comes back, I'll play it. But apparently there was a bit of a oopsie daisy at South Carolina's graduation ceremony that has to be addressed.
Now my honor and privilege to officially congratulate you as the newest alumni from the University of California. Congratulations and please be seated. Never mind. Sorry about that. I owe you push-up.
Wow. Wow. That seems not great. That seems not ideal. Oh, man. You would think a no tigers prowling clause would be an unspoken rule. Yeah, I feel like I don't feel like I need to put out a specific no Tigers rule anywhere. It just seems like that's a thing that's known. Here you go, Lonzo. You got your audio back on?
I do. I have no problem with turning down this country commercial. Go ahead.
So this little moment is brought to you by Bob Caslin, the president of the University of South Carolina, Lonzo. Here's how he started the graduation ceremony at Carolina this weekend.
Now my honor and privilege to officially congratulate you as the newest alumni from the University of California. Congratulations and please be seated. Never mind. Sorry about that. I let you push up.
Did you catch that, Zoe?
See, I didn't hear it before. I heard it this time, but somebody who's also on the station is playing it over and over again and commenting quite a bit on social media. So yeah. So I was aware of it.
The president of U of FC said, "Congratulations to the graduating class of California." Now, I know that that's a harmless little mistake in the grand scheme of things. I have probably done it multiple times in my career as a low-level, nobody sports radio broadcaster. But so I got to tell you, if the president of the university calls it the wrong university, the unfortunate thing for Carolina fans, though, is that they are never going to hear the end of this forever.
Yeah, you're right. Never going to hear the end of it.
Forever.
If you want to hear it played at least 35 to 40 times in a single hour, tune in around 4 p.m.
Oh, that is rough.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not.
It's very bad.
Would that stop you as a recruit from going there?
No, not at all.
Going, man, this guy has no idea where he's at. Why would I want to go to that university?
It's not really like it's uber damaging to the university. It's just that it has refilled the ammunition of Clemson fans to go after Carolina fans for like.
Well, as someone who's had to correct hosts for a couple of decades when they slip up, it easily can, and I've made those mistakes myself too, but it can easily happen when you're reading something and you're going through it. But that particular mistake, I mean, if he said it was Charlotte or something like that, it might have been bad, but not bad as saying California.
Yeah.
Because of that debate that's going on forever. Should he be fired for this mistake?
No, you can't. I mean, look. Where did Bob Caslin come from?
I think he was military, if I recall.
I think you're correct.
Noon to 3. This is the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
Oh. I don't know, Lonzo. Do we even bring that up on air? I kind of feel I'm obligated to do it.
You know what? There's thunder stealing, and I'm all for that.
Oh no!
So you go for it, because we know the reverse has and shall continue to happen. So yeah, do it.
So I'm gonna play you a little clip of audio here. For those of you on the stream, you're gonna get to see the live video to it while I play it. If you want to join that stream and see the video, you can at facebook.com/ESPN Upstate. Over the weekend, there was a graduation ceremony at the University of South Carolina. Now, we all know that one of the big reasons that U of SC is now U of SC instead of USC is because people would get that USC conflated with South California. Bob Caslin is the president of South Carolina, and at the beginning of the graduation ceremony, President Caslin welcome in the USC grads by saying this.
Now my honor and privilege to officially congratulate you as the newest alumni from the University of California. Congratulations and please be seated. Never mind. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that would be the president of South Carolina welcoming all the newest graduates of the University of California, quote unquote. Now, here's the thing, though. It's not the most damaging slip up that a university president has ever made. And heck, I would argue it's a relatively common one to have been made for years and years and years. The only bad thing about this, though, is that Clemson fans have just reloaded the bleep talk gun with a new bullet of not even your president cares enough about your university to call it right. He knows who the real USC is, and Gamecocks fans get to deal with that for, I don't know, the rest of ever.
Yeah, they went a little quiet after the playoff. I don't know why. Something might have happened to make them go a little quiet, but now they will come out of the woodwork and go after their rival as well as they should, because if it was the other way, it definitely would be coming.
If any president does this, any rival, you could have lost to your rival 32 times in a row. If he screws up the name of your own university and calls it, especially one that has a running gag of USC v. USC, as long as that one has been running, yeah.
The best part is the girl that says, "What?"
She goes, "What?" And you hear the laughter, but you know that's that laughter of, oh, God, we're never going to hear the end of this. Quick break, 2 hours left. NBA playoff picture and who has the odds to be the best going in next on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
ESPN Upstate, WYRD Greenville, WORD Spartanburg, W249TL Greenville, W246CV Spartanburg, WFPC FM HD3.
An Odyssey station.
We'll be very excited because my 3-year-old nephew, who is watching our show, hey Lou, back in Destin, has rocked today, Zoe, his throwback Batman shirt as is displayed here on the stream now. And he saw yours and got very excited. And apparently screamed at the TV, Uncle Robert's friend is wearing a Batman shirt like me. So you can welcome my nephew Lou to the Honorary Lonzo fan club. So,
thank you, Lou. And I love the Batman. I wear Batman type shirts often. So
I've seen them.
Golf cart in the first break.
Perfect.
So if you were in a position where you wasn't sure if you might have to repeat what you did last week, would you send an email or text to find out, or would you just sit quietly and wait? Because you don't want that bad news just in case. Am I weird that I haven't inquired as to whether I'm working till 7 or not?
No, I don't say anything because I don't want it to circle back around and make it seem like I'm excited to do it. You know what I mean? Like, if said situation is teetering on a maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't, and then the word gets back that, hey, the escape clause is there if you want it, that may be a situation where that becomes more likely to happen.
Well, it's not a case of me being able to refuse.
Oh, no,
other than walking through the door, on my way out of here forever. But no, I just, producer Tim, Squire Tim, as we call him, asked me earlier, is like, why aren't you finding out? It's because I don't want to know. I'd rather go through my day and be happy and just believe that that person will be back to work today and I can have a normal day. Because I've got some deadlines that are coming up at the end of the week, and I need to get to those.
Sugarton, Outback, Warrior Creek, and Foothills.
Outside.
That's PRN's At the Track, 7:30 Saturday mornings, right here on ESPN Upstate.
Warning.
And check this out.
For an official Rob Brown lockdown.
Represents being real. Yeah.
Real, unfiltered sports talk manufactured locally for the Carolinas.
Lockdown.
This is the Rob Brown Show.
Yeah.
Only on ESPN.
ESPN Upstate.
The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. This, ladies and gentlemen, is ESPN Upstate 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg, all around the world on the Odyssey app. Put it on your smartphones, your digital devices, your tablets, your laptops, your PCs, your Xboxes or PlayStations. Just put the app down and bring ESPN Upstate to your ear holes anytime, any place, anywhere, asterisk with an internet connection. We make it easy for you. And just want to remind you that we are, as we speak, taking nominations for this year's 2021 Salute to Seniors. Our Salute to Seniors is ongoing right now. We are looking for graduating seniors in the class of 2021, a class which has had to face a ton of challenges in their young, studious careers. We, along with Benson Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Greer, Healthy Blue, and Old South Trading Company, are looking to pay our respects to the seniors graduating this class who didn't just get through some incredible challenges, but thrived in their faces. All you got to do is go to espnupstate.com and nominate your senior from anywhere in our listening area to be a part of our 2021 Salute to Seniors. We are talking about seniors who excelled on and off the athletic fields. We are talking about students who excelled in and outside of the classroom. We are talking about students who have become leaders. We are talking about students who have given back to their community. We are talking about students who have achieved unparalleled levels of success. We want you to nominate them for our 2021 Salute to Seniors. Go to espnupstate.com. Right there, biggest button on the front page is our Salute to Seniors nomination form. Click on it, nominate your senior superlatives, and we will honor the best of the 2021 class right here on the airwaves of ESPN Upstate. It's espnupstate.com and our 2021 Salute to Seniors. Make sure you get your nominations in sooner rather than later. We'll be picking our seniors over the next handful of days, and within a couple of weeks, we'll begin to honor them on the airwaves of ESPN Upstate. One of my favorite things that we do every year, and we are doing it bigger and better than ever in 2021. All right, let's take a look over at our NBA playoff rankings as they stand and this play-in tournament. There are a few teams that have just one or two games left to go, a couple of makeup games left to be played, but we are inside of a week from the end of the NBA's regular season. And we know the format this year, 1 through 6 locked into the playoffs, 7 through 10 will play a play-in tournament to become the final 2 seeds of the Eastern and Western Conference playoff brackets. Over in the East, the 76ers hold on to the 1 seed. They are locked into the playoffs. The Nets are the 2, the Bucks the 3. The Red Hot Knicks are the 4. The Hawks and Heat round out your 6 teams that are in the regular playoffs now, though those are not for certain. The Boston Celtics are 2 games behind Miami. They could still fight their way into the 6th seed and bump Miami to the play-in tournament. 7 through 10 right now in the East, Boston, Charlotte, Washington, and Indiana. 11 and 12, the Bulls and the Raptors. They are not out of the race, but they would need to win out and get some help to sneak in and replace Indiana in that 10 spot. Over in the West, your NBA record holders are the Utah Jazz, the best record holders in the NBA this year. They are the 1 seed as of right now. The Phoenix Suns are currently in second place. The Clippers, Nuggets, and Mavs, 3, 4, and 5. Your 6th seed right now, but again, not locked in, are your Portland Trailblazers at 39 and 29. They are just one game up on the LA Lakers in the 7th spot, about to have to hit the play-in tournament if things don't go their way. They are 38 and 30. That is where we stand right now. The Lakers still have 4 games left to play. They've got some makeup dates: New York, Houston, at Indiana, and then at New Orleans to wrap up the regular season schedule. So it is not over for the Lakers. They may, if LeBron is able to get going, if AD is able to get over the injuries and the back spasms that forced him to leave after last Thursday night's contest, they might be able to jump up. They're only a game back of Portland. Now, 4 games back from Portland are the Warriors right now at the 8, the Grizz in the 9, and the Spurs in the 10 spot. Now, the Pelicans right now are the 11, the Kings are the 12. Neither one of those teams has been eliminated from the playoffs at this point. New Orleans is still sitting on a few games left, at Memphis, at Dallas, at Golden State, and then back home to take on the Lakers. So 3 roadies and a home finale against the Lakers. But of course, without Zion, I don't suspect they're going to fight their way in. So likely going to be locked into the 10 seed are the San Antonio Spurs. Now, let's talk a little bit about this play-in tournament. A couple of, I guess about a week ago, LeBron said whoever came up with the play-in tournament bleep should be fired, end quote. What is the tournament and how does the play-in tournament work? It is going to start on May 18th, so we're just a little over a week away, 2 days after the regular season ends. The 7th place team in both conferences host the 8th place team. The winner advances as the 7th seed as the 7th seed to face the number 2 seed in the first round of the playoffs. The 9th place team in both conferences host the 10th place team. The loser of that game is eliminated and will play the loser of the 7-8 game. The 7-8 game loser will host the winner of the 9-10 game, and the winner of that game will go on to be the 8th seed in the regular bracket. Seeding top to bottom in both conferences is still to be determined in the final week of the regular season. The races in each conference for 5th and 6th place, as of right now, as we have mentioned, are relatively contested. Nobody wants to go into the play-in tournament. It is simply a matter, can we make it and get locked in and take on one of the play-in teams? If 2 teams finish with identical records, the same order of tiebreakers that have always been applied to playoff seeds are still relevant to the tournament itself. The first tiebreaker, if there is a 2-team tie, will be the head-to-head record against each other. If there are 3 or more tiebreakers, they will go through the order of, is one a division winner? Not likely to be. Then the combined head-to-head record. Then a divisional win percentage if they're in the same division. If not, the intra-conference win percentage, followed by intra-conference win percentage against playoff teams. And then the point differential. So that's where we are right now. We're going to get in detail about how these brackets set up, etc. But I'll ask you, Lonzo, how do you feel about the play-in tournament? Good idea, bad idea? There are a lot of folks who really like the idea, the premise. LeBron last year thought it was a great idea when his team was a 1-2 seed. This year, sitting there as a 7 seed, he says the idea is bleep, and whoever came up with it should be fired. He thinks they should just be locked in as the 7 seed to go to the playoffs. That being said, Zoe, do you like the premise of having a couple of extra playoff games to determine the 7 and 8 seed?
First of all, LeBron sounds scared. And that's something he should never sound. You say that if you're scared and you're worried. If you have confidence in your team, even if you are coming off of a bunch of injuries, shouldn't matter where you are. You believe you can make your way up to where you need to be. I'm okay with it. What it does, it puts some excitement into the beginning of the playoffs because there's uncertainty there. You don't know who's actually going to be in there, and if you're a team that's playing really well right now, you got a shot to knock those guys off and get in there. And I'm looking forward to it. I think it's cool.
I love the idea. I really do. I think it's great. You're never going to find a spot where Rob Brown says less sports are good. All right. We have that discussion every year when we get to the end of the college football season and people start screaming, oh, there's too many ball games. The ball games don't mean as much. There's too many ball. All right. So you want less football? Because as I recall it, every day after the national championship game, we get a bunch of people calling in when I go, hey, all right, guys, we got 258 days until the next college football game. People start calling in and go, oh, I wish there was more football. I wish there was more football. Yeah, I'm good with there being more basketball. And here's the reason that I'm good with it. It's not a full series, Lonzo, right? It's 2 games. Well, it's 3 games technically. It's 3 games. The 9 and 10 play 1 game. Loser goes home. There is no better basketball than loser go home basketball, right? That's one of the reasons we love March Madness as much as we do. I've made the argument. It is, I would argue more often than not, the best team does not win the March tournament because it's winner goes on, loser goes home. And you're not going to win them all, man. The best teams in the NBA this year are dropping 20 games, right? 20 times that they would have been eliminated despite being a 50-game winner like Utah. It's loser, go home. So you're giving another team a chance, but you're making it exhilarating. Let's look over in the West. If the bracket started today, Lonzo, round number 1 in the play-in tournament for our 7-8 game is LeBron taking on Steph Curry. Winner goes to the playoffs. Loser still has work to do just to skirt in as the last seed.
Wow, nobody'd want to watch that game.
Yeah.
How could that be exciting at all?
Yeah. Who wants to watch?
No names on those teams, no history.
No.
Nah.
Who wants to watch LeBron and the Lakers, defending NBA champions, have to take on the magician that is Steph Curry, a guy who has been breaking hearts from behind the arc all season long? Who wants to watch those 2 guys, those 2 teams, get it on with the knowledge that the winner is locked into a playoff series and the loser has to move on to a do-or-die 1 game against a scrappy Spurs team or whoever else is going to come out of that bottom half? Who wants to watch that? Talk about thrill, man. That's as good as we could ask for. If we got Steph and LeBron in the playoffs and it came down to a game 5 between those 2 teams, loser goes home, I think it would immediately become one of the most watched playoff games of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly what we're getting set up for here.
You know, and for a league whose viewership is way down, having this kind of intrigue will bring some people back.
Yeah. It's hard, though. It's hard to commit to a full series, right? When there's a 5 or a 7-game series, 2 games back to back, and then a night off, and then 2 games, and then 1 game, and then 2 games. It's hard to commit to a 7-game or even a 5-game series in the playoffs, even when the series is really good. It's hard to commit. It's hard to convince a significant other who needs stuff done around the house that of the next 10 days, 7 of those nights you are locked out because you've got a series to watch, even if you're a fan of the teams playing. But Zoe, it's not hard to commit when I know that on May 19th, it's Bron v. Steph, and the winner goes to the playoffs, and the loser is 1 step closer to done. I can commit to a game. I can commit to 1 night with everything on the line. I can commit to that easy. No problem. It seems to me like this is a great setup. It is the definition of adrenaline in basketball, the definition of importance in basketball. I don't know how you wouldn't get excited about there's too many teams in the playoffs. I mean, I guess I can hear the argument. There's only 5 teams from both conferences.
But even so, how many more games have been added?
3.
I mean, come on.
3 more games.
It's not like you're adding an entire other round with 7-game series or 5-game series. It's just 3 games.
Yeah. 7, 8, 9, 10, and then the loser of 7 and 8 versus the winner of 9 and 10. That's it. I've added 3 games over 5 days. I've added 3 games. Is that too much basketball for you? So I'll tell you, and not just 3 games, though. Not just 3 games. But you've added 2 games that are loser goes home, right? The loser of the 9-10 game goes home. And then the loser of the 7-8 v winner of the 9-10 game, the loser of that game, goes home. You've added 3 games. 2 teams are headed home. Just like that. In 5 days from 2 conferences. That's great. I have no issue with this. I think it's fantastic. As Zoe pointed out, for a league that got its rear end handed to it last year in the ratings, in the playoffs and in the finals, that is trying to rebound from that, pardon the terrible pun, for a league that is trying to revamp people's excitement in the postseason, loser goes home basketball is about as good as it gets. There's a reason we love March. They've just created a mini March Madness. I'd be fine if we expanded it further, to be honest with you. I love it. I love it. All right, 844-477-3776. 844-GSP-ESPN. Text us 71307 on the Ingles Market text line, 71307. Start your text with ESPN. We can read it on the air. Let's take a break. When we come back here in just a minute, we got NHL playoffs that are just around the corner and plenty more. It is going to be busy, y'all. It's Monday. Let's have a little fun. Rob Lonzo, this is ESPN Upstate.
Golf cart.
The Rob Brown Show. Listen on your computer and tablet at ESPNUpstate.com.
The Preserve It Verde, Pebble Creek, Legacy Pines, the Rock Golf Club and Resort, Carolina Springs, Willow Creek, Links of Tryon, Rolling Green Golf Club, and the club at Brookstone. What do they all have in common? Well, all 9 of them are amongst the most prestigious and beautiful golf courses in the area. All 9 of them are courses that you want to play. Trust me if you're a golfer. And all 9 of them are on the 2021 Upstate Golf Card. If you were to play around at all 9 courses, it costs you over $450. Unless you go purchase the 2021 Upstate Golf Card for just $99. You are getting $99 is getting you $450 worth of golf. That is over 75% off every round. That is less than $15 a round and less than $1 a hole. You're going to get a round of golf at each one of those 9. I mean, that should be enough. That should be enough to get you to go right now. How would it not be? If you called me and said, Rob Brown, I want to go play around at fill in the blank with any of these 9 prestigious clubs, and I said, absolutely, let's do it. It's going to cost us, though. You'd go, I don't know, man. And I said, but wait, I got a hookup. We get 75% off this round. It's going to cost you like $1,450. You're going to go, let's play 2 rounds. What do you say we run it back and play 36 today? Well, that's exactly what I'm telling you. $99, getting you over 75% off of all 9 of those courses. But you got to get yours today because they will sell out. Get one for you. Get one for Pops. Get one for your friends, your family. It's a great way to get out there and enjoy some golf. Go to upstategolfcard.com to learn more. That's upstategolfcard.com. So Zoe, my apartment complex does not open the pool until after Memorial Day weekend. That's like too late, right? It's too nice out to not have the pool open.
Yeah. I guess I agree. But maybe they're doing it to make sure that enough people are going to be able to go out and get in the pool, because then, schools I don't know why they're waiting so long. That is kind of late, especially in South Carolina. It's been warm enough for the pool for a while now. Is the water in the pool?
Yeah, and it's beautiful.
So
there, they just installed a brand new barbecue grill for us to use. It's the only barbecue grill on the property, and you can't get to it.
I was going to say, so there's no way to access it.
No, they got it locked up. Like they put a big old thick bolt on it. You can't get in. They said they'll when they decide to open it after they said likely this month, probably Memorial Day weekend or right after. They're gonna unlock, and I mean I get this. They unlock the pool at like 8 a.m. and they close it at like 9 p.m. right, which is fine. I mean I like to sit out by the pool at night and you hang out in the pool and have a cold frosty in the pool late at night. But I get liability reasons why they wouldn't want anybody in there in the dark. I get it. That's fine. But like May in South Carolina is the perfect month to start getting out by the pool. And all I can do is look at it every day when I leave my front door. What a dumb first world problem to complain about.
The first thing I thought of was first world problems, but you started off the show saying I was coming at you, so I didn't want to do that. So now I'm trying to curb my tongue. But you know what? That first dip is going to be awesome, because you've been waiting for a while. There's anticipation involved, and it's going to be glorious when you get out there and jump in that pool for the first time.
Speaking of glorious,
we're coming back.
And downs, the ins and outs.
I've never liked Bobby Reed.
Unfiltered sports talk. It's the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
Rob Brown Show's on your radio. This is ESPN Upstate. Greenville Triumph go on the road this weekend. Get a big time W. On the road. Take their third straight win. They are 3-0 on the season. A 2-1 victory over North Carolina FC. A very well played match. I was at the Braves game on Saturday, so I didn't get to watch it, but I did watch it yesterday afternoon. 1-1 as the teams went into half, but it was Greenville's attack that was able to break through the lines, held on for the 2-1 victory. Mario Lomas and Lachlan McLean were both able to find the net. It seemed that it was going to be a very smooth match from the defending League One champs. They controlled the tempo. That has been the style for Greenville in all three matches. It was tough to do in match number one. They had the red card that was issued early in the game to Cesar Murillo. But even after that, despite the fact that the possession did increase for the Richmond Kickers, it was still very much Greenville that was sending the attack forward. And then, of course, last week in a 4-0 rout of North Texas, Greenville made a statement. 9 minutes into the match, Andrew Booth earned a PK, converted in by the reigning player of the week, Mario Lomas. Greenville up 1-0. North Carolina FC did start to kind of throw attacks forward. Basically, the old spray and pay, right? Throw the long ball up there, try to see if you can get some attackers in space. They ended up doing that. A tremendous ball that switched the point of attack, put Dallas J in a very tough position. Selmer Mishik, a striker for NCFC, found himself in a 1v1 position with Abdi Muhammad, the right back. Had a ton of time as Greenville's defense was caught off guard with the long ball. Had a little step over and a quality finish, like a goal of the week contender for Misic. And they tied the game up at 1 prior to the half. Both sides had pretty good runs of possession in the second half. Moments of opportunity, some really good defensive plays for both sides. But in the 65th minute, Lachlan McLean took a header after a scramble in the box from Jesus Ibarra from the left flank, and they went up 2-1. Cesar Murillo, defender, came in for Lomas. John Hartsch dropped his side into a defensive positioning to try to hang on to the lead with about 10 minutes left to go, 15 minutes left to go. NCFC up the pressure, but Greenville threw out some quality defense, held off a late shot and a deflection in the 91st minute in stoppage time. Gives the Triumph 9 points through 3 matches, the most you can ask for. And, of course, that means they are set up to try to bring a 4-0 record when they take on Union Omaha at 4 p.m. on Sunday on ESPN2, League One's first ever national telecast. We're going to talk about this on Wednesday, obviously, when we do our Triumph segment. But suffice to say, Lonzo, we've had many discussions about different ways to fix different problems at all level of sports. But at the end of the day, the best way to fix problems, the best way to get people involved, the best way to drive fan turnout, the best way to get attention, the best way to take advantage of everything that your team has in front of it is to win, baby, win. Like Al Davis said, just win, baby, win. And 3-0, 9 points, top of the table. Look, if you're vaguely interested in soccer, right? Like if you're Lonzo and you're vaguely interested in soccer, right? Like you're listening to Rob Brown talk about it a few times a week, and Rob Brown's got you excited for soccer, as I know I have for you, Lonzo. I got you in. I got the hook. Now I just got to get it set. The best way for me to convince you that it's worth your time to become a Triumph fan and to start watching some soccer and to get involved, the best way, Lonzo, is for me to go, hey, and also, on top of all those awesome, exciting things I've told you, they're 3-0. They're the best team in the league. They've knocked off the champs from 2 years ago. They've knocked off the teams that were the brand new team in the league that has all the energy and momentum. And now this weekend, they're set on to take the second place team from last year, and they are 3-0 undefeated, top of the table. So I don't know that there's a better way to get people fired up about your team in any sport at any level than to just go out there and be ass kickers. And that's what the Triumph are doing so far.
I think the most important thing you said was your team, our team. This is a team it's the Greenville team, and they're undefeated. That's pretty cool. Whether you like the sport or not, that's very cool. And that will get people to go out and go, okay, how are they this good? Let me go see, who are the players? Why are they doing this well? Let me go see. They're going to be here. They're going to be live. They're going to be on ESPN2. So even if you can't make it out to the stadium, you can check them out on TV. And that may also make you want to go, hey, I think I got to go out there and check out a game.
Yeah, there's going to be, I tell you right now, we're going to talk about it a bunch this week. There's going to be some folks that are going to go, I don't really think I'm a soccer guy. I'm not going to spend the money to go to a match. And then they're going to watch that broadcast on the Deuce this weekend, and they're going to get excited about it, Lonzo. They're going to get excited about it. They're going to get pumped about it because that energy and that excitement that goes on at Legacy early and the smoke going off from the supporter section and the flags waving and the drums beating and the chants raining down on the field, all that's going to get people excited to really experience that firsthand and in person. There's going to be some converts. We work for converts on this show every day. I work on converts. I work on converts for the Triumph, for the Drive, for the Swamp Rabbits. And I can tell you, I have had people since I've been here. I have had a number of people, Zoe, that have told me. In fact, it happened at the Triumph game. What was it? Not this past, but last weekend. I was there with my buddy Keegan. Our buddy P1 Keegan came up there with me, and we're standing there. And I had 2 or 3 people come up and go, Rob, I've never been to a match, but you talked me into it, and this is fun, right? The chants and the drums and the smoke and the hooting and the hollering. Like, man, I've never been to a match because I just didn't think I was a soccer guy. But I got to tell you, this is fun. This is an environment. This is energy. This is great. I'm excited for that. But all that's good stuff. So you can have the most energetic, electric stadium in all the world. You can have the best game day experience in all the world. But if that record's flipped around and you're 0-3 instead of 3-0, it kind of takes the wind out of the sails a little bit. Not only do the Triumph have one of the best soccer stadiums at the USL League One level in all the country, one of the best game day experiences, an organization in the Triumph. One of the things that I saw the week and a half ago, I'm standing in the Reedy River Riot tailgate lot where all the supporters hang out and tailgate before the games, though, and I look up, and here comes Chris Lewis, the president of the organization. Here comes Joe Irwin, the CBO of the organization, or the owner of the team. Here comes Doug, his son, in the CBO. Here comes Harksey. Here comes the head coach. These guys are coming out from the offices an hour and a half before a match. So they're coming out into the supporter section to shake hands and give fist bumps and say, thanks for coming. Thanks for being here. It's a tremendous environment. The organization cares. But Zoe, when you're out there winning every match, you're out there earning 3 points routinely in a sport that is known for having as many ties as wins. When you're out there smoking the competition 3 weeks in a row, Lonzo, it's a little easier for folks like Rob Brown to build the excitement and to get people to want to come out and to make it feel like this team really is a community team. I am here for it, my man.
Not only that, but this is the defending champion. And they're undefeated coming out the next season, still hungry, ready to go. And you got a chance to be a part of that and be out there and see what they're doing. If you get a chance to go, you got to go.
Heck yeah. I believe tickets are sold out for next week. And that's the other thing, Zoe. And I've been telling people, hey, get a ticket, come to the match, come see what it's all about. Man, you go get them on the secondary market because they're straight up sold out. The folks are coming around, man. The people are coming around. It's the Upstate's pro team that won a title last year. I mean, we got 3 of them, and they're all 3 really good teams. By the way, the Swamp Rabbits just for the first time got knocked off by Orlando, a 6-game road winning streak for the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. They are setting themselves for the playoffs. The Drive are just underway. We know the success that they've had. And here are the Triumph holding up the USL League One trophy. Not only are they undefeated, not only are winning, but they're selling out, man. They're selling out. I got to tell you, I've said it 100 times. I'm going to say it 1,000 more before I leave. Guys, we are very lucky to live in this area and have the sports scene built in around us that we have. And this is just a part of it. Quick break. Back in just a minute. My name's Rob Brown. Lonzo's at the helm. The Rob Brown Show rolls on at ESPN Upstate.
The Rob Brown Show. Listen on your Amazon or Google smart speaker. Just say, play ESPN Upstate.
Keegan, there is a very important phrase, in American history. It has been uttered by some of the most famous folks in American history, and it is time for you to learn that phrase. That phrase, Keegan, is, and I quote, "I plead the fifth." And I'm assuming that your better half does not go back and rewatch the stream of the show. I mean, personally, I hope she does. But for your sake, I hope she doesn't go back and rewatch this one, Keegan, because what that comment should say is, I plead the fifth on all things about the match this weekend. The better news for you, Keegan, is that now that I know where you'll be and what you'll be doing instead of at the Triumph match on Sunday, I'm only going to bombard you with, 80 to 90 pictures of arguably the greatest soccer match in the history of the Greenville Triumph. So don't worry about it too much. I'm only going to lay into you with pictures of the match that you're not at. And that is the correct response. That is the correct response. I don't know. I don't know, Keegan. I can't say anything because I'm a fan of your significant other. She's a great gal. You did great. You outkicked your coverage, buddy. I just feel like I don't know. I feel like we have photo shoots for everything now, right? We have shoots for everything. Like every moment has to be documented via pictures. And as somebody who takes pictures, like, cool. But it just seems like, I don't know, an engagement's I was going to say an engagement's a once in a lifetime opportunity. Keegan, let's hope that an engagement is a once in a lifetime opportunity for you, buddy. I guess maybe that's it. Like, once in a lifetime opportunities get photo shoots. I don't know. Probably also why I've never been engaged before. Yeah, that's what I told him too. Keegan got unlucky, all right? Because they scheduled, not to put my man's biz out in the game like this,
30 seconds.
but they scheduled the photo shoot, like, I believe, months ago, and it just happened to fall on this day. And initially, Keegan thought the shoot was going to be in the morning, and he was going to be able to knock that shoot out and still make it to the match. And then he was informed that I believe it's at the exact same time as the match. So I'm going to go ahead and say, Josh, that our responsibility on the match on Sunday is going to be tweet pictures to Keegan making his phone go off.
For Upstate Sports Junkies.
These pathetic junkies? Come on, look at them.
You eat sports like food every day. Get hooked on the Rob Brown Show, noon to 3 every weekday on ESPN Upstate.
So one of our P1 listeners, Lonzo, bought tickets to the Triumph match on Sunday. And then was informed after he bought said tickets that he would be unable to attend the Triumph Omaha match live on ESPN2 this Sunday because his previously scheduled engagement photos, which he believed to be scheduled in the morning on Sunday, are actually in the afternoon on Sunday, meaning that he has to take engagement photos instead of go to the biggest Greenville Triumph match in the history of the franchise. The question, because the right decision is to go to the engagement photos, right? Like, even as a super fan, the right decision is to go to the photos, so there's no question there. The question I have for you is, how many pictures from the match and from the supporter section, how many pictures do I send to this P1 listener during course of the game to rub it into him that he is not there watching the biggest match in Triumph history?
Well, if Keegan is smart, and I do believe that he is, he will have his phone off. and maybe, put in a different location than from where he is at that moment. And if he isn't, maybe he will take my advice and do that. And that kind of negates what you're going to do. But if he should happen to have the phone in his pocket, then that's on him. Send as many as you possibly can.
So send as many, because even if he doesn't get them all, later on that night, he's going to be going home and watching the match on replay on ESPN Plus. And he's just going to have to scroll through his phone and just look at picture after picture after picture of the greatest tailgate in the history of Greenville, arguably.
How many of those pictures will have your face in them?
As many as I can figure out how to do it without it being weird. Oh,
there we go.
Oh, yeah. Pictures from the seats, pictures of the goal celebration, pictures of the smoke popping off. I mean, pictures of everything. Of everything.
You know what would make it worse is if you just happen to have maybe an index card that just said, "Where's Keegan?" and just kind of hold it in different spots whenever you take the picture. Possibly.
What was that old thing they used to do with the kids where you print out a character on a sheet of paper and you take pictures of them in all the different famous places? We'll just take one of those heads on a stick of his and just hold it up in front of various moments in the match. That's a jerk move that I'm 100% okay doing, right? I mean, it is a jerk move. I acknowledge it's a jerk move. But it's one that has to be done amongst friends, right? It's not a jerk move if afterwards you say, "Hey, we missed you, buddy," but it was like you were there with us. Yeah, no, I feel bad for the guy. He and I have been, we went to matches last year. He's kind of become like an unofficial official member of the ESPN Upstate crew at Greenville Triumph matches. He's the unofficial official photographer of the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. I'm going to feel bad for him. It's a very this isn't like him listen, what I would be more inclined to make fun of him for, Zoe, is if he did something like, just to make up a hypothetical here, "Yeah, Rob, I'd absolutely love to that match that you got me a ticket and a press pack to, and I'd 100% be there, but I have to go to someone's baby shower on Saturday, so I can't make it." Like, that would be something you make fun of them for forever, right? Yeah, and you probably should, because something like that, what an excuse that is. I mean, come on. That would be a ridiculous excuse. Keegan taking engagement photos, that's respectable. Like, that's a good reason not to go. I'm fine with that. And last I checked, getting engagement photos, there's money involved there. Yeah, like that's a pay. Yeah. And it's not engagement photos like, "Hey, my buddy's coming over later with his iPhone to snag a couple of pics of the ring." That's like, we got a pro photographer that we are paying to give us quality stuff, and she has limited time, so we don't really have a choice. That's a respectable reason not to go. It's not like, "Hey, my dog's veterinarian's brother's uncle's roommate is having a baby shower and I gotta go." Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I gotta go for 9 hours. Because, that's a normal thing. Poor guy. All right, 844-477-3776. Over on the Ingles Market text line at 71307, texter says, "Absolutely must-do moves just to further help him understand that these engagement photos are more symbolic of so many future things he will also miss," end quote. Wow, the texter bringing the heat against him this afternoon. Wow. At ESPN. Oh, Flat Stanley. Yeah, the texter it's Flat Stanley. That's what it was. That was the little paper dude. At ESPN, he should take the engagement photos at the game if he's smart, end quote. I mean, let me tell you this, though. If you find a woman who tells you, "Yes, honey, we can take our engagement photos at the Triumph game this Sunday," Zoe, you go ahead and move the marriage up like as quickly as possible, because you found a unicorn there, my man. And I know some women who are huge sports fans, big sports fans. The lady friend's coming with me to the game Sunday. She's pumped about it. Women who are big sports fans. But you find a woman who goes, "I am cool with our engagement photos being taken place at the professional sports event that you would like to go to," Lonzo, that is what we in the business call a keeper.
Absolutely. I have one of those, but if you're on the other foot, the shoe's on the other foot, and you are someone who is marrying a guy who is friends with someone on the radio, you would almost think that this is an elaborate plan to try to set things up so that he can get what he actually wants and be able to go and take the pictures there. This would be a elaborate plan with a lot of setup.
Yeah, 5,000 IQ move. If his play is, honey, Rob talked about our engagement photos on the show today, and he kind of took me downtown talking about how I'm going to miss the match, and get her to go, I understand, babe. I'll reschedule the photos. You go have a good time at the game. Would be brilliant, except for I understand how professional photographers work now. Right. And I understand that you don't just move a photo appointment on the last minute and get it done. Right. You're talking about months in advance, which means that he's threatening them being done closer to the wedding date at this point. If that was the play, Lonzo, not a great play. Not a great play. So there you go. He said, what if we get the Triumph involved like the Diamondbacks? Would be another great play, Keegan, except for during your engagement photos, the Triumph are going to be a little busy, playing that match that you can't be at, right? Keegan's like, what if they showed up at the photo? Yeah, they can't, because again, they're going to be playing a match on ESPN2, and I don't think they're going to postpone that game. Hey, one of our big fans has a photo shoot we want to bomb.
Well, if you're going to be there, and you talked about how the owner and the coaches and everything come out before. So if you can set it up with the photographer, and the photographer is willing to move things around like a half hour, not like an entire thing. So you're actually there, and you could actually have the owner and other people in your photos. How amazing would that be?
Again, they're a bit busy that day. And I don't think you're going to call the Triumph out of the locker room 20 minutes before a match to step in for one engagement photo. But I like the optimism, but it ain't happening.
All kidding aside, and you may be talking about this too much, that you might get Keegan in trouble. So, you might want to.
Keegan's in trouble, and I'm in trouble with his significant other for making this into a segment. So let's stop while we're both still ahead, shall we? 844-477-3776, 844-GSP-ESPN. When we come back, I don't know, Zoe, is the Derby winner failing a drug test big enough to make a story? Does anybody actually care? I guess maybe we'll talk about it when we come back. I don't know. We'll see. Rob Lonzo, The Rob Brown Show. It's ESPN Upstate.
The Rob Brown Show. Listen on your Amazon or Google smart speaker. Just say, play ESPN Upstate.
So when I finish that thing that has a deadline, I should be finishing yours, the second version today. I will email it to you when I also email it to him.
Sweet. So I guess probably more of a off the stream conversation about it, probably.
Yes, I do believe we can win. Okay? All right. I'll go ahead and say that.
It wasn't that. In fact, I've already been telling people, based on your dedication to accomplishing said feat, I have no doubt about that. I was more curious about what the impact of what changes have been requested.
Well, whenever I turn in something, there's usually 1 to 2 revisions, and I put things in that I know I'm going to take out. And I know this.
Playing the con game, I like it.
It's not really that. It's just, well, maybe it is, and so it's not really a con. It's understanding the system and how the system works, and which I believe I do. So I am a multi-time winner. But no, so I already knew a couple. I knew things that I considered weak points, if you want to call it that. Doesn't necessarily mean they're weak points. It's just they're not as strong as it's hard to put it in words exactly, because I don't want to imply that anything that was done on this program is weak in any way. Just the really strong things really outweigh the other things. We
don't do anything weak on this show.
Right. When it's everything is great, it's hard to filter things out and put it in a smaller package.
Yeah.
I have one little bit.
I had a joke about this show in small package, but I'm just going to let it die on the.
Yeah, you should let that go. But I'm hoping I don't get to the one thing where it has to be an exact time, get to where I have to try to get rid of 10 seconds, and I really have a hard time getting rid of 10 seconds, which is a lot more difficult than people think on occasion. We should be good, though. I should be able to get that done if my schedule is normal after the show. Then I get to get started on the other one that I haven't started on yet, as well as consult with everybody else on theirs.
Bob Baffert's horse failed a drug test, and he called it cancel culture.
Technically he's right. 30 seconds. If you cheat, you get canceled. I mean, or you should.
It's not cancel culture, Bob. The rules are in place.
See SCEducationLottery.com for game odds and details.
Join the Rob Brown Lockdown on Twitter. Tweet at The Rob Brown Show on the Upstate Sports Leader, ESPN Upstate.
Brian on the Facebook stream says, my wife don't like sports. The Thakis says, as a member of the Married People Missing Out on Cool Things Club, I'm pouring one out for Keegan. And Josh just says, laughy face emoji. Poor guy. Poor guy. All right. Let me ask you guys a question. The one of the big stories over the weekend was that the winner of the Kentucky 500, Medina Spirit, immediately was tagged positive for over twice the legal limit of a corticosteroid. I don't know, because I'm not a horse doctor.
I believe I heard it pronounced cortico. I believe you're right.
Corticosteroid. If a second sample confirms the test, Medina Spirit will have its win overturned and will likely have to watch the Preakness from the stables, says defector.com. Let me ask you, and I'm asking this question in all sincerity, right? I told you 2 weeks ago we didn't talk about the Kentucky Derby on the show for one reason and one reason alone. And I wanted to point out, when we don't talk about stuff, usually we get text or calls from people who go, hey, Rob, you're not mentioning this, or you didn't mention that, or what are your thoughts on this, or what are your thoughts on that? We did not get a single text, tweet, Facebook post, email, or call at all, period, talking about the 500. Not a single person in any city in which we broadcast on this fantastic, fabulous radio station did we have a single person say, Rob, what are your thoughts on the Derby? Who do you think's the winner? Who's the odds on? Who's the betting favor? Who should I throw some coin at? Not a single person. I don't think anybody cares. Do any of you care about Medina's Spirit drug test enough to turn it into a discussion on the show? Do any of you care? Like at all? Like at all at all? Does any one of you care? Like at all? Because I don't think so. I don't think so. I wasn't going to waste any time on it other than to ask the question, would it be a waste of time? And I think I already know the answer. 1 hour left. The Monday Hour's next of the Rob Brown Show right here on ESPN Upstate.
ESPN Upstate.
No horse talk. Most are on drugs anyway. Yeah, I don't care. Like, I don't know. I don't know, Zoe. Somebody once told me I was a bad sports talk host because I don't involve the Derby. But I just don't care.
Hey, Rob.
Months of billionaires running horses in it.
Rob, horses aren't athletes. You know, you shouldn't treat them inhumanely, but horses aren't athletes. It's different if they're human beings, and you know what horses do is they run, and you know I've been there were a couple of racetracks in Columbus where I grew up or around Columbus. Been to some, been back in the stables and things like that, and even being there live, I just saw horses, and it just didn't really. I mean, I like horses and everything, but no, I don't get it.
I don't know, man. I just like look. It's the thing is, like, I respect. How I guess that's the right word. Like, I respect the horses, and I respect.
You respect the horses?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like they're not. You're not.
Hey, travelers, plus cart tracks like Paso Kingdom.
Do you think the horses realize that you respect them?
That's PRN's at the track, 7:30.
No, I get what you're saying. I absolutely get what you're saying. But the horses don't know. They run, man. That's what they do.
Rob Brown Lockdown.
Represents being real. Yeah.
Real, unfiltered sports talk manufactured locally for the Carolinas.
Now you gonna give me back for that. I gotta look for it.
It's the Rob Brown Show.
Yeah.
Only on ESPN.
ESPN Upstate.
I just don't care about the horse racing. I just don't care. Like, and it's not, Lonzo, it's not like I'm like anti-horses, right? I don't have an anti-horse propaganda laid out about the horses. This anti-horse racing.
Yeah, this comes back to that old argument, you know, when they list the 100 greatest athletes of all time and they throw in like Secretariat. No, that's not an athlete. It's a horse. And I get if you're into it, but the only reason why you're into horse racing is because you're into betting on horse racing. That's the only reason why. That's the reason why you go to the horse track or the dog track.
The deep appreciation of animals running.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's all about the money.
I like to go outside and sit on my back porch and just watch the geese fly across the sky. I have a real high respect for the fastest geese, you know? Like, Zoe's on to something there. I don't know. Like I said, it's not an animosity towards but at the end of the day, like, you can train them and practice and whatever else you want to do. But at the end of the day, the horse doesn't know what the horse is doing, right? The horse knows if I run faster, I get hit less by the tiny person on my back. And if I run really fast, I get extra apples and sugar cubes for dinner, right? Like, that's what
I wouldn't even go that far. I would go the far of, okay, I'm not getting hit as much, but I don't know that they would know they got extra food.
I don't know. I'm just saying, I love the week of the Derby, right? Actually, let me tell you what. Last weekend was the Derby? Last weekend.
There's even more proof because you don't even remember. Was it last week? Was it the week before? I don't even know. It was last weekend.
Okay, perfect. Last weekend was the Derby. And let me be abundantly clear. If you have the what's the word I'm looking for here? If you have the respect for your fellow man to acknowledge that you like Derby Day, but you like Derby Day because of the party, right? I like Derby Day because of the social aspect of it, right? I'll take any excuse to have a good social get-together. And if you're telling me that me and the gang are going to throw on some seersucker, and me and the gang are going to go out there and knock back a few mint juleps and tell some stories and laugh on the porch, all right, man, if you want to interrupt that for 2 minutes of horses running in a circle, it's a good excuse. I've had worse excuses for a party, all right? I'm good with that. But can we stop pretending that it's about anything more than the social element? Like, nobody's out there ranking the greatest 500 horses to ever run in the Derby with any seriousness. Nobody cares, right? Like, nobody cares, so just stop. So Medina Spirit, the horse that won the Derby, gets popped by a drug test, man. They get popped by a drug test. And I'm listening on, what was it, Saturday night on the drive back from Atlanta. I'm listening yesterday to the radio. And, I get to a point, Lonzo, where I'm like, I think the majority of these hosts do not care about this. I don't think they care. I really don't. Because when they're talking NBA or MLB, talking no-hitters, and they're talking another triple-double from Russell Westbrook, right? When they're talking about that, you can tell that they have a passion for it for one reason or the next, man. It might just be that they respect what Russell's doing, that he's threatening averaging a triple-double, that they're this, that they're that, whatever. They have a passion for it. And then they're like, by the way, the horse that won the Derby got popped for a steroid test, and if he gets popped for another one, then he's going to lose his Kentucky Derby crown. And there's an interesting story.
Here's how far it goes. I was in the car and had ESPN Upstate on, and the two hosts of the show yesterday, at some point on Sunday, one of them was interviewing the horse that got popped for steroids with horse sound effects. That's how serious they take it.
Yeah,
it was a well done segment, by the way, but still. I mean, it's in the end, it's a horse. Does a horse know that they got popped for steroids? No, it has nothing to do with the horse getting popped. It has to do with the trainer getting popped.
Yeah, and on top of that, right? Here, let's get all PETA on it for just a second. Here's the worst part about it.
All right, you lost me there. I'm out.
No. And for the record, I'm not a fan of PETA at all. All right. Here's the thing. Allow me to be the bleeding heart that so many of you accuse me of being. If a baseball player gets popped for a PED, right? The baseball player has decided that it is worth the risk to his own body and health to try to improve his performance on the baseball field or on the football field or whatever. They decide. When somebody decides to inject a corticosteroid into a horse, the horse doesn't get to decide. Then I'm not sitting here arguing for animal autonomy. I'm not sitting here arguing that the horse should get to make decisions about its own life. I'm saying it's kind of messed up, right? It's kind of messed up. And now that horse doesn't even get to brag to all his horse friends about being the fastest horse, right? He's going to be like, hey, y'all, I was the fastest horse at the person thing the other day. And the other horses, though, you know what the horses are going to say to him? They're going to look at him and they're going to go, nay. That's horse for no. Get it?
I was going to say that was a denial, right? Okay, let's just making sure.
Yeah, it's horse for no. It's like, just stop. Like I'm getting on my sports show prep websites this morning. And I'm going to like ESPN and Fox Sports and Yahoo Sports and Medina Spirit Pop for Positive is like the top article on every page. No one cares, man. Like no one cares. And it's unbelievable to me the depths that people will go to pretend that they care about this horse racing result. They don't. You don't. Any one of you right now on the chat or the text, Lonzo, what horse was in second place in that race? Scratch that. Name me another horse from the race. Just name a horse. Name one. You know what my favorite racehorse of all time was, though? I have one favorite racehorse. It wasn't Seabiscuit, which is only famous because it had a movie. It wasn't Secretariat. You know what my favorite racehorse of all time was, though? My favorite racehorse of all time was a horse that went by the name Hoof Hearted. Do you know why I love that horse, Lonzo?
I can't imagine with someone with such highbrow humor why you would enjoy the name of that horse.
The name of the horse was Hoof Hearted. Hoof Hearted. The name of the horse was Hoof Hearted. The only good thing horse racing has for it is funny horse names. That's it. That's all. And Hoof Hearted set the top tier of horse racing names for all time. It's over. You can't do better than Hoof Hearted. So just shut it down, man. Just stop. I don't get it. All right. And other much more important and better things to talk about. Speaking of amateur athletes competing for things, there is an online petition going around in Japan calling for the cancellation or at least postponement of the 2020/21 Olympic Games in just a handful of days. It is threatening to approach 100,000 signatures so far if it hasn't crossed that line already. If it hasn't crossed that line already, Tokyo is still having issues in particular states with the coronavirus. They are having quite a few. 70 to 80% of Japanese citizens say that they want the Olympic Games canceled or postponed. The committees have not made any move to do so. It does not appear that they will. Most folks believe that hosting the Olympics will be a save face for the Japanese Olympic Committee. They have spent almost $15.5 billion preparing for the Olympics. The 70 to 80%, so almost 3 out of 4 in some cases, if the poll, depending on the margin of error, maybe over 3 out of 4 Japanese citizens want the Olympics to be canceled in Tokyo. Lonzo, I find myself in a spot here because on one hand, every single year the Olympics take place, you have some amount of people who come out of the woodworks and say, we don't want the Olympics to happen. I remember in Rio a few years ago, people were going, wait a minute, Rio de Janeiro has some of the biggest slums in the world, yet we're spending $20 million to host the Olympics in a place where these stadiums are going to be simply reclaimed by nature in a few years because there's not enough money to operate them. We have seen calls for them to be canceled in America in the few years, back in Atlanta in 96, Salt Lake City, when the winners were there. We can have better uses for millions and billions of dollars, et cetera. But never before, Lonzo, has there been 3/4 of the population of an Olympic host country that do not want the Olympics to take place there. And while I love the Olympics, I think they're an incredibly important sporting event. I think they're one of the few times that the sporting event is so big that you can genuinely say this event is more about unification than anything else. It's an important part of the global discussion. When 75% of the people of the host country say we don't want this to take place for whatever reason, whether it's coronavirus or national politics within that country or whatever, man, it wears on me a little bit, right? Like, I've been looking forward to the Olympics since they got canceled last year. I love them. I think they are probably needed in 2021 more than they've ever been needed before by the global sports community. But 75% of the Japanese people saying we don't want them here. I gotta tell you, man, that puts me in a real tough spot between wanting to respect the people in Japan, 3 out of 4 who don't want this event to take place, versus the rest of the world that's going, we need this sports moment in our history right now. So where do you come out on that?
I don't know, because if the Japanese people don't want it because of COVID, I kind of get it. But at the same time, fans from countries are not going, right? It's just going to be the athletes themselves. So they're not going to allow fans. I would get it if they were worried about an influx of people coming in from all over the world with the coronavirus still going on. I would get that concern. But, and I don't know what the number of actual coaches and participants are as far as how many thousands that is, but it's definitely not as much as having, a ton of fans coming in and things like that. I get it. I understand. I still kind of hope it happens anyway because I'm a fan of the Olympics.
Yeah. I've had a similar spot with, for instance, the next World Cup, which is supposed to take place in Qatar, where there are some real unethical situations playing out in preparation for the World Cup in Qatar, right? I mean, there are people dying building these stadiums in what is effectively a form of slave labor there to get ready for the World Cup in Qatar. That makes me, as a person with some semblance, I like to think occasionally of morals and ethics, go, can I support this event, man? Like, can I watch the World Cup in Qatar knowing what's going on there? But on the flip side, it is a global event that is the cause of so much goodwill and happiness and unification of people from across all borders in supporting their own countries in this major event.
All right, so TMZ must be listening to the program because they just tweeted 2020 Olympics in trouble, COVID case surge, Tokyo in state of emergency. IOC President Thomas Bach has canceled his trip to the country.
Wow, that's interesting. And by the way, yes, everybody listens to the show. We're a nationwide phenomenon now, Lonzo. Yeah, I mean, look, it's still not a certainty. We're 2.5 months away, 2 months, two and some change away from the start of the Olympics. It's still not a guarantee it takes place. I think every day that goes by that we get a day closer, the more likely it becomes inevitable that it happens, right? Like, I think at some point, you're only a couple of weeks away from athletes beginning to fly to Japan to start preparing and learning courses and getting used to their accommodations and all that. I think every day we get closer, it's more likely to happen. But again, what a spot to be in when you're talking about the fact that 75% of the people in the host country do not want the Olympics to take place. That's a big number, y'all. That's a big number of people to look at the face and go, we don't care what you want to happen in your own backyard, in your own country. It's more important that we get to watch people run fast and spike volleyballs. That's a tough spot to be in, man. I want you to think about it during the break, and I want your thoughts at 71307. 71307. How would you feel if the flip side were true, right? Like, how would you feel if the upstate was set to host some sort of sporting event and 75% of the people in the upstate said, we don't want this to happen here, and they went ahead with that event anyway, right? You'd be furious. But that's what we're asking the Japanese people to do. For what? So that we can watch people run fast. All right, quick break. Speaking of people running fast, a new respect for Olympic caliber sprinters and NFL players after DK Metcalf participated in Olympic qualifying trial for the 100-meter dash. One of the fastest guys in the league, ran against some of the best sprinters in the world. How did he fare? And what does it say about the league, about these amateur sprinters, and about us as fans? I'll tell you next on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
Harley Davidson.
Welcome back, Harley.
The Rob Brown Show. Listen on your computer and tablet at ESPNUpstate.com.
Spring has sprung. The weather is here. Wish you were beautiful, as the great Jimmy Buffett would say. And it is time to get that new motorcycle underneath you, man. It is time to get that new Harley Davidson from Harley Davidson of Greenville in your garage now. And there's never been a better time to ride than right this very second. Check this out. Right now, if you trade in your bike towards any new in-stock 2021 Harley Davidson motorcycle, Harley Davidson of Greenville will give you up to 120% of your NADA trading value. They are giving you spare money in order for you to put it towards a brand new in-stock 2021 Harley Davidson motorcycle. Right now, you bring in your bike, you trade it in, and you trade up towards a brand new 2021 Harley, 120% of NADA trade-in value for you to put towards that new ride. You're not going to get a better deal for your trade-in. And on the opposite side of the trade-in, you're riding out on the back of one of the most beautiful new Harleys they have ever rolled out, with the new finishes, the new paint options, the new colors, the new gear. It's great. Oh, and by the way, ladies, May is Ladies Month at Harley Davidson of the Upstate, Harley Davidson of Greenville. If you come in and buy one ladies riding accessory or apparel, you are getting 25% off the second item. And ladies, on May 23rd, put it on the calendar, Sunday, May 23rd, at 10 a.m., it is the ladies-only ride. That's right, gals. It is a ride just for you. A women's-only ride on May 23rd at 10 a.m. They are going to have the ride. It includes a free lunch. You are going to get to meet other lady riders from around the upstate. That is May 23rd, and all of it comes through our friends at Harley Davidson of Greenville. Find them online at upstateharley.com or in their beautiful dealership at 30 Chrome Drive, upstateharley.com. It's our friends at Harley Davidson of Greenville.
AutomotiveMap.com.
So I'm curious about something. Is this breaking news? Tim Tebow plans to sign, or the Jaguars plan to sign Tim Tebow. Everyone is, tweeting about this now. It's all over the place. But it's planning to. He hasn't signed yet. So how's it news when he hasn't signed yet? It's not really news. It just makes you think it's a very slow sports day, I guess. I don't know.
I just got that alert on the old telephone.
They plan to sign him. They haven't signed him.
I think it's one of those things that it 100% depends on the insider it's coming from, right? If it's coming from Shefty that the Jags plan to sign the plan to sign Tebow, then I trust it. If it's like some beat writer in Jacksonville I've never heard of, I'm not, because that's a thing that you say in Jacksonville.
I want to say it was Mike Florio that reported it originally. So
I trust
yeah. So it was a reputable name, and I'd have to wade through all these 10,000 tweets to find out who it was exactly.
That being said, though, if we really want to be blunt with it, your headline is last place team in the NFL decides to sign third string tight end. Is that really front page news? If that's anybody but Tebow, it's not. But that story is 100% about a feel-good story for Timmy Terrific. The greatest.
But by the way, we know that I am a fan of Tebow, so I'm good with the signing. I just don't think it's breaking news that you plan to do something when you haven't done it yet, because that can fall through, and then it's breaking news that the signing didn't happen.
I am a fan of Tim Tebow, the person. That is not an outrageous statement. I like Tebow. He's a good dude. I've spent time with Tim Tebow. He is every bit the guy off the camera that he is on it. He's a good dude. He's a very nice guy. He is forward, and he's approachable, and he's nice. He's never not smiling. I'm pulling for the dude. He's a good dude. Tim Tebow and I probably wouldn't be friends if we're being honest with each other, but he's a good dude, and I'm pulling for him. That being said, Tim Tebow is a 33-year-old former NFL quarterback. He's going to be their third string tight end at best. He's going to be a guy that I think becomes more of a gadget player. Now, maybe he can be a really successful gadget player.
Let me be controversial here. Maybe you sign Tim Tebow to take the spotlight off of your quarterback who may struggle this year. Maybe. So then all the focus is on Tim Tebow and not on the fact that Trevor Lawrence might be struggling in the NFL. By the way, it's not me being anti-Clemson. It's, the number one quarterback or number one pick going to the worst team in the league. He's probably not going to set it on fire.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. That's actually a really good take. I agree with you. There may be some level of...
You are setting up... Yeah, you're setting up... Look at... Like I said, it's everywhere that they plan to sign him. You're bringing in that distraction, and that distraction will take some of the heat off the brand new coach, the number one quarterback, all that stuff.
All right, hang on to that thought, because that's our next segment.
1 minute.
And the answer to Steven, I watched 2.45, 3 hours of the Snyder Cut so far. I did not finish it because I was about to fall asleep because I did not get home from Atlanta until like 5 a.m. on Sunday morning. I will be watching the end of it as soon as we get off the air, and I will do a full breakdown of the Snyder Cut. I may even go live after later on today after the show, just so you guys don't think I'm holding out.
30 seconds.
But I will do a full rundown of the Snyder Cut. If not today, then tomorrow on the show. But I have watched 75 to 80% of it.
Let me know when you're going live so I can go on after you're done with the rebuttal.
Sold. He's not messing around. Real, unfiltered sports talk on the Rob Brown Show. ESPN Upstate.
All right, so breaking news out of the National Football League. And, of course, our breaking news here on ESPN Upstate is brought to you by Odyssey.com Sports and presented by BetQL. Become a better sports bettor. Get smarter and beat the books. Download the BetQL app or visit BetQL.com today. The report from Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk is that the Jacksonville Jaguars, the fighting Jacksonville Tigers, will sign Tim Tebow. Well, I believe the headlines, though, if I read it correctly, are planning to sign Tim Tebow?
Are planning to, yes.
Are planning to sign Timmy Terrific, the Greatest Gator, to a 1-year contract. And that is, of course, making its way around the Twitter sphere. As we speak, people are all sorts of excited about the potential for Timmy Terrific to be on an NFL team alongside Trevor Lawrence this year.
I have other breaking news. Mark Ryan has placed the Jacksonville Jaguars on the centaur of Tim Tebow that's above his head, above where he sleeps. So,
which we have it on good authority definitely does exist. Definitely does exist. The question is, will the Jags sign Tebow? And is the Jags planning on signing Tebow worthy of the amount of attention that it's going to get? Now, my immediate gut reaction to that was, if it's anybody but Timmy Terrific, last place team in the NFL decides to sign a third string quarterback is not front page news on NFL.com. But because it's Timmy Terrific and not a 33-year-old former quarterback who didn't find success in football at the professional level despite opportunities to do so, look, I'm a fan of Tim Tebow. I've spent time with Tim Tebow. He's every bit the dude off the camera that he is on the camera. Now, Tim Tebow and I probably would not be friends in real life, all right? I like to hoot and holler, say bad words, and have a drink every now and then. Tebow and I probably would not be buddies hanging out in the dorm in the day-to-day.
By the way, I would love to hang out with Tim. We got a lot in common.
I've hung with yes, you would. Zoe would have more in common with Tim Tebow. Absolutely. And that's not a judgment. Like I said, I've met Timmy Terrific. The dude is a good dude. All right. We wouldn't necessarily be great personal friends, but I still respect, just like I respect everybody when they have conviction that they stick to, which is not easy to do in this day and age. I respect Timmy Terrific. He is a good dude. He has given a lot of people someone to look up to, and I absolutely respect the crap out of that. No doubt about it. Now, is him signing this contract big news? Zoe, during the break, when we were talking about this off the air, had a very good point that he labeled as potentially controversial that I don't think is controversial at all, Zoe. In fact, I think it's exactly what happened.
All right, so here's the deal. So you've got a first-time NFL coach, even though he's a well-known college coach in Urban Meyer. You've got the number 1 draft pick, which means that your team stunk last year, which means you're on the worst team in the league, and you're bringing that quarterback in. People are going to be focused on this team. Why not bring in someone like Tim Tebow, who brings a certain amount of distraction with it? Suddenly the focus goes to Tim Tebow and doesn't look at maybe the coach isn't coaching as good as he should. Maybe the quarterback isn't playing as good as he should. Tebow is going to be one of the first guys the reporters want to talk to. It's a built-in distraction. And in this case, probably a good distraction.
Bingo. I think that's a good chunk. Now, that is not to say that the Jags don't have some belief that Tim Tebow can successfully contribute.
Yeah, I want to say, I hope Tim Tebow balls out. I absolutely does. I hope, even though people like Rob will say, see, if he got past his pride and played tight end, he would be, might be a Hall of Famer by now.
Yep. What an insult for Rob Brown to say that Tim Tebow was a good enough football player that if he would have swallowed his pride and been willing to play tight end, fullback, H-back, basically done what Taysom Hill has gotten famous for doing in New Orleans.
You're a bad human being.
I'm a bad human being. Because I have the audacity to say that Tim Tebow would have been one of the greatest NFL players of all time if he would have gotten over his pride.
How dare you? He's a quarterback.
If he'd have gotten over his pride, if he'd have swallowed his pride, pride cometh before the fall. All right? Tebow gets over his pride and acknowledges that, hey, maybe I'm not cut out to be a quarterback. Maybe I can be a guy who helps my team in other way, right? Maybe I can help my team in another way by being not a quarterback, by being Taysom Hill before Taysom Hill made it cool. Then he would be, not might be, ladies and gentlemen, I believe he would be an NFL Hall of Fame caliber player. I think he would have done what Taysom Hill is doing and maybe done it better than Taysom Hill, right? If I put Timmy back there in an H-back spot, he's still a threat to throw the football or run it like a fullback or catch it as a tight end or split out and run as a split receiver.
The jump pass is back, baby. Yes. The jump pass has returned.
Now, I think Urban Meyer knows that. And I think Urban Meyer is looking at Tim Tebow and going, this guy's a weapon I can put in anywhere. He's looking at the Sean Payton playbook and going, this guy can be anywhere on the football field and do anything in any of those positions, even at 33. Let's give it a shot. But Here's the thing. Urban Meyer's been a good college coach. I don't know how he's going to pan in the NFL, and don't tell me you guarantee he's going to be a success because Nick Saban wasn't a success, and Nick Saban's a better coach than Urban Meyer at the college level, so it's not a guarantee. But I think Herb is looking at the Sean Payton Taysom Hill playbook and going, maybe there's a chance we can turn this guy into something and give us a weapon all over the field, and that's all well and good. But I don't think Lonzo was wrong. I don't think Lonzo's wrong at all. I think that there is some element of Urban Meyer that goes, all right, let's call this what it is, shall we? Let's call this what it is. We have got the quarterback that the light is shining brighter on than any quarterback since, I don't know, let's say Andrew Luck, right? There has not been a quarterback that has been under the type of spotlight that Trevor Lawrence is about to be in since Andrew Luck got drafted to the Indianapolis Colts. There hasn't been one. And we know that if Trevor goes out there and doesn't light the league in fuego from week one, there are going to be people who turn a spotlight towards the Jags and go, uh-oh, did TL16 blow it? Did the Jags blow it? Should they have drafted Justin Fields? Should they have drafted Zach Wilson? Did they blow the pick? Was this a waste? Did this doom the franchise for another X amount of years? But if TL16 goes out there and doesn't light the league on fire in week one, but you can get Timmy Terrific 35 receiving yards and a touchdown, you go, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our post conference. Tough L today. Now let's bring up to the podium to address with his endless optimism and happiness the great Tim Tebow. And you can kind of quarantine TL16 from the criticism. You can quarantine Herb from the criticism by trotting out the happy, smiling Tim Tebow, who got 35 and a touch in his first game as a backup tight end. So, not only do I think you are right about this, I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it at all. There is a leap from the ACC to the NFL that a lot of quarterbacks aren't ready for, aren't prepared for.
You know, if this is indeed Urban Meyer's intention and his doing, it just shows you that he's looking ahead and knows the struggles that he's going to have and is preparing for that. And I think that bodes well for maybe him being a decent NFL coach in the future.
I absolutely agree. One of the biggest things you can do as an NFL coach is to protect yourself, protect your squad, protect your QB, especially if your QB has a spotlight shining on him as large as the one that's shining on Trevor Lawrence this year, whether you like it or not. That is a huge plus for an NFL head coach. I do not for a second think that it is some ridiculous leap to believe that Herb is going to use Tebow as a shield to protect TL16. I think that's an absolute possibility for this signing and why this signing might be taking place. I'm not saying Tebow can't be successful. I'm not saying Tebow won't be an intricate part of the Jags offense this year. He very well might. If there's a dude headstrong enough to be out of the league for 10 years and to come back at a new position and work his way into a better spot, Timmy Terrific is one of the guys that can pull it off. But he's also playing a position he's never played before. He's also playing a position he's never had experience at the NFL level with. He's doing it under his old college coach, sure, but his college coach is not going to be running the 2008 Gators packages into this offense, right? So he's not going to be the superstar. He's not going to be the face of the franchise. Trevor is. He's an afterthought. Will he be able to handle that? That's a great question. And Zoe, I don't think your point is controversial. I don't think it's generated to throw a wrench into the system. I think it's exactly a part of why Tim Tebow will get signed by the Jags. Not only are you adding a guy who might be a very good gadget player at the NFL level, but you're adding a guy who can be a shield, a deflector of criticism away from your quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, who has the eyes of the NFL world turned exclusively on him in week number 1. Zach Wilson does not have the pressure on him in New York that TL does in Jacksonville. Justin Fields doesn't have the pressure on him in Chicago that TL does in Jacksonville. Nobody will have the pressure on them like Trevor does, and this is a shield between him and that pressure. Zoe, I think you are spot on with that take, man. Spot on with it. 844-477-3776. Quick break, quick segment, and then Twitter trending topics to call it a day here on The Rob Brown Show. This is ESPN Upstate.
The Rob Brown Show. Listen on your Amazon or Google Smart.
I suspect Zoe. Oh, I'll tell him when he comes back. Keegan bringing the hot fire today, man. That's really good. That's really good. We had a little fun with Keegan earlier in the show, and now he is taking 0 prisoners. I respect it. Lonzo, what's the reaction if a particular former Florida Gator was listening to that segment?
They're probably very unhappy and will probably open, if they had a show, we'll say they would probably open the show discussing how brain dead the two people in this program are.
Brain dead.
And they probably would forget my name.
Rob and that other guy. It's the Rob and that other guy show, weekdays from noon to 3.
If you didn't enjoy the Tebow talk, well, don't listen to the next 4 hours. And in his defense, that's his guy. It's always been his guy. So if it's your guy, you're going to be excited about it.
Making qualms about it. I respect that.
Well, the employee that was not here last week is here this week, so it looks like I'm good.
All right.
Not that I was looking in the parking lot for that person's vehicle, but I was.
Yeah, no, not that you were scoping out the dregs just to make 100% sure or anything.
Well, yeah.
But you totally were.
There's I'm relieved that that person is well enough to be back to work. I'm also relieved that I don't have to do their job today. But the positive out of it is I got some training on how things are done now with how news and traffic and things are done, and it got me back up to speed where I should have been in the first place.
There you go. Look, it's a silver lining, though, is what we're looking at here.
And now Drew is trained up, and he can do it too.
There's the silver lining.
$20 seconds.
844-GSP-ESPN. Text keyword ESPN and your message to 71307. Get in the game on the Rob Brown Show. Only on ESPN Upstate.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. This is ESPN Upstate. Hello, South Carolina. Rob Alonzo with you here on a Monday afternoon. I absolutely will be interested to hear what Mark Ryan and Diesel have to say. They are coming up at 3 o'clock, right on the dot, as Mike Florio reporting that Tim Tebow is on the verge of signing a 1-year deal with the Jacksonville Jaguars to play the role of tight end. Over on the text line, a few texts that have come in on our Ingles Market text line at 71307. Let's see what we got here at ESPN. Flat Stanley, now known as Absconded Keegan. Yes, absolutely. At ESPN, I'm sure the Triumph have a photographer. They do. His name is Blake Schultz, and he's very, very good. He's a friend of mine now, too. You can follow him on Twitter. Blake's phenomenal. Does a great job at the Triumph game. But again, the president of the Triumph, Chris Lewis, also texted me and said, with apologies to Keegan, they will be a little too busy on Sunday to participate in engagement photos. At ESPN, coming up next, horses on the horse. Yes, a full conversation. I'll tell you what, I will play any sound that is acquired of other horses giving commentary on their disappointment in Medina Spirit having its 500 or its Kentucky Derby struck away. At ESPN, the Kentucky 500, that's what we're calling the Kentucky Derby now. I don't think I called it that, but I would rather watch the NASCARs for 500 laps than by the way, the lady friend last Saturday, she went to a friend's birthday party that also happened to be at the same time as the Derby because nobody cares about the Kentucky Derby enough not to move their birthday. No one would ever say, hey, my birthday party is during the Daytona 500, or my birthday party is during the Super Bowl. Don't come to watch it. Come to celebrate me. Nobody would do that because they understand people care about those other events. Nobody's ever said, I'm not throwing a party during the Kentucky Derby.
No, while you have that party, you go, hold on a second, I gotta go to the restroom. You go to the restroom, you bring the Derby up on your phone, you watch the Derby, you go back. There you go.
You could bail for the Derby, and the only question you might be asked is your stomach okay? You were in there for 2 whole minutes. The lady friend went to the party. A couple of the other folks at the party were setting up for the Derby. She Facebooked out, well, that seemed like a lot of buildup for 2 minutes. To which my friend responded, oh, your relationship with Rob, I get it. Ha ha, the Derby sucks. And also, good joke.
I needed some warning. I would have had the rim shot ready.
At ESPN, actually would be interested in how the wagering would work for that. If they already paid out for horse A, would they have to pay out now for horse B plus all the trifectas, et cetera? Has this been covered? My understanding is that they actually would not. They would just not have a winner this year. They would recognize the second place horse as a new winner, but casinos would not be obligated to pay out those who lost, or if you bet on the second place horse, you would not be recognized as a winner. My question would be more, if you bet on Medina Spirit and got the dub, does that money have to go back now? Would you be obligated to pay back that money? So if I went and won $5K betting on Medina Spirit and then I blew it all on a new TV, am I obligated to give the book that money back? That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, that would be a problem. I also want to know, are they going to interview the second place winner and ask them how they felt about, being made the winner, even though they didn't actually win?
No, because
I want to hear those comments from the second place winner.
At ESPN, I only enjoy Major League Baseball because I bet on it. Same with horse racing. Yeah, you're not alone. At ESPN, can I get your thoughts on Tebow time in Jacksonville? It's been reported by Ian Rappaport that they are going to sign him. And the second text at ESPN, Jags signing Tebow with 7 exclamation points. I've given you my thoughts. I think it'll be interesting to see if he's still got at 33 years old the gas in the tank to be a player like Taysom Hill is in New Orleans. If he is, it'll be interesting. If he's not, it'll last 8-9 weeks. They'll cut him. There you go. At ESPN, Rob, you nailed it on that Derby piece. Unless you own horses or are a crazy bettor, who cares? In fact, does horse racing even count as a sport? Peace to you and Lonzo. Thank you very much. Texter, appreciate it. Zoe argues no. I say I don't care enough to have the discussion. I don't care enough. If you want to call it a sport, call it a sport.
I say, and that's the answer right there.
Yeah, I don't care enough about it. At ESPN, what's the over-under for preseason Wildcat packages featuring Tebow? Like a lot. I think Herb would be silly not to work Tebow Wildcat packages in. Really. I think it'd be silly not to. Do I think you do it to a point that it takes Trevor? No, I don't think you go crazy. One of the big criticisms about Sean Payton and Taysom Hill down in New Orleans, which I think is a case study that you can use as an illustration of this. Go back and read some of my. I have been mad in some situations where the Saints are facing like a 3rd and 3 in a critical spot, and they put Taysom Hill into the Wildcat. You are taking the ball out of the hands of Drew Brees for 3 yards to go to a gadget play. You know the guy is running 90% of the time and passing 10. I don't love it, but I do think it works great on some 2nd and 8 situations.
Who's a better passer, Taysom Hill or Tebow?
I don't know. I mean, if you asked me when Tebow was 23, I'd say Tebow, no question. But at 33, I don't know. When's the last time Tebow threw a football competitively? 10 years ago.
He throws a baseball pretty well.
Sure. It's not a football. Keep in mind, Tebow had the chance to go play at the CFL, too. The Canadian Football League wanted Tebow as an athlete, and he would have made good money as a starter there. And he said no, because he wanted to be a quarterback. Pride cometh before the fall. At ESPN, no Steve Austin Glass breaking for breaking news. Yeah, we're working on that. That might come down the pipe.
I am unhappy with the choices that I've found, and I cannot use the exact breaking news. So, I mean, yeah, so I'm working on it, okay?
At ESPN, does it Tim Tebow cry when he loses? End quote. Yeah, he cried after that SEC championship game. They lost to Alabama, but remember, all he did was come back the next year and win a national championship. So,
yeah, you don't want Tebow crying.
No. I thought it was that whole, I promise you nobody's going to play harder. Yeah, dude, that was a lame speech. All right, it was lame. Let's just, and the Gators put it on a bronze plaque.
Time out. It was not lame. That was passion, and that passion was felt by every teammate and every fan of that team. And then he backed it up.
Sure. It was impactful for the team. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I think. All that mattered is did it rally the Gators? And the answer was yes. It rallied the Gators. It rallied the Gators to get back out there and get some dubs, which is all that mattered. It was still a lame speech. And ESPN, you did call it the Kentucky 500, and I thought it was on purpose and hilarious, but instead of kissing bricks and drinking milk, you inject steroids and drink whiskey ruined by mint. Quick break, Twitter trending topics to wrap it up. When we come back, Rob Lonzo, this is ESPN Upstate.
The Rob Brown Show. Listen on your Amazon or Google smart speaker. Just say, play ESPN Upstate.
From the 106.3 WORD Weather Center, here's the Upstate's most trusted forecast on ESPN Upstate. Areas of showers and a few thunderstorms this afternoon, high in the low 80s. More showers and storms tonight, low near 56. Slight chance of rain on Tuesday, high near 71. Chance of rain Tuesday night, low 51. I'm meteorologist Laura Lockwood on ESPN.
I haven't done this in a while, I forget how.
Right now, 74.
Sometimes reaching the radio is hard.
I'm real comfy under these covers and I can't reach the radio.
Then throw on a robe and get out of bed.
Well, I never.
Then maybe you should.
Alexa may be sassy, but she can help as well.
Just ask it, I will play the radio for you.
When you can't reach the radio, ask Alexa to play it for you. Alexa, play ESPN Upstate.
Okay.
And listen to the Upstate sports leader without moving a muscle.
Great idea until atrophy sets in.
ESPN Upstate.
Ingles Markets is hosting their company-wide job fair May 11th, 12th, and 13th from 10 a.m.
One minute. Did you see the pictures of Sammy Guevara?
No, I didn't.
All the damage that he took?
No, I did not.
Yeah, there are stitches involved in other things. He got tore up.
Dude, it was an absolutely brutal match.
I didn't see any pictures of anybody else but him. So I don't know. Maybe he was just bragging about it or what, but it looked like, I don't know, about 10 or 15 stitches on like his back.
On his back?
It looked like back by the shoulder or something. I'm trying to recall the picture without bringing it up.
Go find him after we get off the air.
Other than the stitches, he didn't look as bad as Dominic Mysterio after the beating that he took, a few months ago, but, I love Stephakis's. Check it out. See it?
At least two. At least two.
And now, the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter Trending Topics.
It is time for Twitter Trending Topics, where I will tell everybody what is trending on the internets, and Rob will tell us what he knows about it. The first thing that is trending is Venom 2.
So the trailer for Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, has dropped. Have you seen it yet, Lonzo? I know the answer is yes.
Absolutely, I have seen it, yes.
First off, Woody Harrelson is going to be absolutely terrifying in that movie. Absolutely terrifying. I like that they kept the style of the occasional little bits of funny out of Venom. But the two reveals of Carnage at the end look like this is going to be the single most terrifying superhero movie that we have gotten yet, and I will be there day one. I love Venom. I thought the first movie was great. There were a couple of plot holes, whatever. It was a fun little break from the continued storyline of the MCU. I hope they work Venom into the MCU for to be the anti-hero alongside Spidey in the future. But dude, that trailer looks, as the kids say, Zoe, dope.
Well, the first Venom was really good. There were a couple CGI spots that were a little messy, but other than that, I really enjoyed it. And the trailer is great. I don't want to spoil the trailer, but Carnage
looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Carnage was going to be in it. I got nothing for you, but He looked fantastic.
Yeah, Woody Harrelson will do that. And if you know anything about Carnage, the character, he fits that perfectly.
Yeah, raw psychopath.
A little bit of inside, though. There's a newspaper being held in the trailer. And from what I've read, it is Sam Raimi's universe, not the universe that we have right now.
Well, it's the movies. If there's enough money in it, they'll figure it out.
But along those lines, the next thing that's trending is Morbius.
Morbius trending. I have not seen.
All right, here's why Morbius is trending, because it will be in that universe.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So they're building a universe that outside of what we're seeing in the regular MCU.
Here's what I find interesting, though. But in Raimi's universe, Eddie Brock's already dead, right? So now we have two Eddie Brocks, or like that happen to have the same job in the same city. Like, well, you've already killed Eddie Brock.
I just want to point this out. There's probably a Rob Brown somewhere else. Just possibly might be.
One of us is a superhero, and obviously it's me.
Well, there is that. All right, we got we got time for one more. Conor McGregor is trending.
I don't know why he's trending.
I got to tell you this.
He got thrashed last week, but go ahead.
He wants to buy Man United after he retires.
He doesn't have the money to buy Man United. Doesn't have the money. That's a $100 billion buy.
Even with all his whiskey money, he doesn't have it.
He doesn't have the money for that. You got to be a multi times over billionaire.
Doesn't mean he can't get partners.
Maybe, but he won't be a solo owner ever. All right, that's it. Mark Ryan with the Tim Tebow Jaguars show is up next. Thanks for hanging out with us, y'all. Great to be with you. See you back here tomorrow. We'll try harder tomorrow. Don't drink and drive. I'll punch you in the face. Thanks for listening to the Rob Brown Show.